2.5 years, over 70 habitats, more than 120 species, mountains carved from desert sands, savannas stretched across empty maps, forests grown tree by tree. This is Bollo Bollo, a zoo born from obsession, built in late nights, refined in early mornings, the project that made me start YouTube, the zoo that broke and was rebuilt. Wild African landscapes, dramatic vistas, dueling palaces, hidden secrets, a grand display of stone and sand, and now it's finally ready. Available on the workshop, one version fully detailed without animals, one version with a curated population, full mod list included. This is the complete tour of the zoo that started everything. Welcome to Bollo Bollo. Quick note, 2 versions of this zoo are on the workshop right now. One is empty, no animals. The other one has a small population of animals. That one is at your own risk. It will not run smoothly on your PC. You have been warned. Oh, here it is, guys. Glorious, glorious Bollo Bollo. The only zoo you've really heard me talk about. The only zoo that I've really been working on for the past 2.5 years. You've seen the title, you've seen the announcements. This zoo is finished. I've been working on this zoo not constantly, but for 2.5 years this zoo was on my mind and actually played a pretty big part in my life. So saying that it's done is also filling me with some bittersweet feelings, because this zoo really has meant a lot to me. Just to give you the basic lowdown on the existence of this zoo, as you can perhaps tell, it is based on a North African setting, and it imagines a ruin, a set of ruins from the Roman ages, the Roman time of Roman conquest in North Africa, which has then been purchased by a wealthy tycoon and turned into a very, very large animal resort featuring architecture from the Roman era, sort of refurbished into a zoo, featuring modern architecture, and then my personal, European appropriation of Northern African architecture. This zoo is very, very, very big. It features, I think, around 77 habitats, and I think over 120 animal species, including every African animal available to you in Planet Zoo if you buy all the DLC, and nearly every modded African animal that exists on the Nexus. So touring it is going to be a big endeavor. When you watch this video, just know that it has taken me a long time to put this tour together, because even without animals in this zoo, it is running at a 25 frames per second. So it took me a lot of time to get this zoo to work. I also have to add all the billboards that you'll see in a bit. So just know that a lot of work has gone into not only the zoo, but the tour as well. Without further ado, let's just jump into the first section of the zoo, and that is going to be right behind this entrance building. And there we go, we did the unthinkable, added all of the animals in the section I'll tour right now, and we added some guests to the zoo. Lord knows why I did that. And added some billboards here with the official Bollo Bollo logo. So let's check out the area that I would say occurs right after this entrance building to our left here, and that is mostly something I would call the Hoofstok Bazaar, and then Desert Mountain beyond it. We're going to start into the entrance building, which is one of the first things I built for Bollo Bollo. As you can tell, this employs more of a modern style with a bit of a light museum feel to it. And this waterfall, rockfall here to the right. And then we have a gift shop, and like many gift shops for many Planet Zoo users all around the world, this gift shop doesn't really work. This is not a crazy themed gift shop. I think you can find many gift shops out there that are more themed and appropriate for an African vibe. But that wasn't entirely the goal here, to make it rustic. The goal was to be a modern entrance hall here, and you know, I think this fits the bill. So the first real animal you can check out in the zoo pretty much is the Goliath beetle here in his exhibit, but you know, that's an exhibit, so let's not dwell on that too much. We're going to leave this building behind, and then immediately we get our first view here at one of the largest habitats in this early section of the zoo, and that is, as you can probably tell, the classic opener to a zoo, and that is the Great Ape flamingo. So we enter this race platform over here, where we get a view of a lot of what's to come, but our focus should be right there at the ostentatious pink flamingo palace. What's with all the animals being boxed? Apparently lots of diseases going around, but these are the flamingos. They have a pool right over there, which they actually prefer over the pool. Gee, come on guys, I planned the story ahead. Stop embarrassing me by boxing all of the animals. But yeah, the flamingos over there have a big pool below us. And then they actually have this pink palace to themselves with some more man-made artificial pools back there. And there's 61 flamingos in here, I believe. There should be, like, you know, realistically I would put like 200 of them in there, and I could have done that, but I wanted to make this tour watchable. So yeah, that is the Flamingo Palace there, with the large group of flamingos, very pink, all fitting in the Bollo Bollo theme. Bollo Bollo as a concept has always been more about fantasy and theme park, far more than it has been about realism. We're not going to enter this bat habitat just yet. We're going to walk past this themed building, sort of the marketplace slash bazaar, and we're going to enter it. First of all, you can imagine this is a place where lots of guests would congregate. This is a place to get your food, your drinks, to do a restroom check, to enjoy the shade a little bit around this fountain, and check out this little African porcupine habitat. They have their well, there's two of them in here, and they have this sort of backyard feel, this sort of secluded little habitat for them. And yeah, this is one of the first things I built, where I really started playing around with the plants available to me in the rocks. I will say, guys, the further into this tour, you're going to see things that are closer to my current building level. That makes sense, right? But I never really went back and updated these old habitats. Kind of deliberately, but I think you will see quality improve as the video goes on. Second of all, one thing you need to know about me as a person and about Bollo Bollo is I'm not very good at visualizing the future, so a lot of the planning for the guest experience is very mediocre. So there's lots of backtracking involved, and yeah, you'll notice that in the final edit. But here we have this central building here, around which we have most of the hoofstock that is connected to Northern Africa, or at the very least arid environments, starting with this Somali wild ass habitat, a gorgeously modeled animal, if you ask me. One of my favorites that I really had to include very early on in this zoo, with this shade structure. And one little quirk of this section that, you know, nothing exciting about it, of course, is but that every animal here gets their own signature tree. You'll notice that as we go on. So that is the Somali wild ass, wonderful creature, and I think a great way to open this section here as we move on. If you know what's coming, then you know I can do better than this building, but I was so pleased with this. Actually, why don't we check out the bats? I mean, there's nothing to it really. You know what to expect, an indoor bat, Egyptian fruit bat habitat. I had fun with it, but you know, there you go. Now you saw that. We're going to go clockwise around this, meaning that very early on, we're going to have to make a decision. I'm going to make the decision for you. So we continue to walk past the wild ass, past these wonderful columns, And as you can see, there is a little billboard here for the Desert Mountain attraction. We are not going there just yet. I mean, it kind of makes sense what you can find there. Up there is Desert Mountain. I don't think it takes a genius to understand what we'll see there, but you'll see that when we get there. So we continue on. Let me fix that right quick. That is for the Scimitar Horned Oryx. There you go. Spoilers for the animal that's coming next. It is, of course, the Scimitar Horned Oryx. So the concept for this series of habitats was quite simple. I would create these sort of moats. I would spam faux rocks and Nitraria bushes in these moats, ensuring, you know, these aren't environments that hoofed animals like this would want to venture in, and even if they did, they wouldn't be able to get out of there. So that was the whole concept. And I really feel I really gained a huge appreciation while building Bollo Bollo for all antelopes and gazelles and really hoofed animals, building for them, but also just for their general look. It really helped, you know, helped me gain a lot of interest in these animals in general. And a few of my favorite animals at this point, in terms of African animals, are actually antelopes and gazelles. Come on, cat. Don't bother me while recording. I love you, but I got stuff to do. Please don't mess with my microphone cord. Anyway, the Scimitar Horned Oryx, a conservation hero. If you go look up their story, one of too few of those stories, actually. To our left, we get teasers of stuff to look at. You can tell there's something back there. You're not really meant to look at it just yet. But we actually, yeah, that's why I looked to our left. We actually did miss a little section here. As you can tell, there's predators abound. We're going to get up on this platform and get our first look at this long stretched out habitat. And let's see if we actually, yeah, there we go. Can't believe I missed them the first time. This is the striped hyena habitat. They have a whole section at the other end of this circular tunnel under this pathway. But this is the striped hyena. Yeah, they have this very long habitat with plenty of water. At the other end, they have a more private section, really. And yeah, just a wonderful animal. And this was one of my favorite things I did. To create this tunnel under this walkway. There's a backstage there, guys. If you have downloaded this zoo from the workshop, don't look in there. Don't look into any backstage for any animal. There's nothing there, only ugliness and jank. So that is the striped hyena, pretty much the sort of introduction animal to Desert Mountain. But let us continue on past the Scimitar Horned Oryx. At this point, you also get the option right here to leave this route and go check out another exhibit, really a part of the zoo. We're not going to go there yet, but you can tell that there's stuff going on there, right? The River of Life is coming up later in the tour, but we are still dealing with this part of the tour. And this is where we get to see three habitats at the same time. The start of the Dama Gazelle habitat with this tower to our right. If we look to our left, we get the very end of the Nile Lechwe habitat. As you can see, they have a lot of space, and a lot of that space is actually concentrated back there. And they are the neighbors of the large desert habitat where I put we'll check them out later. The dromedary, the Arabian oryx, and there's a bunch of Thompson's gazelles thrown in there as well for good measure. So that is the Nile Lechwe. They actually also have indoor access to this building. And we can enter this building and enjoy the shade from the unrelenting sunlight of the North African sun here. And try and find the Dama gazelles that we have here. They usually hang out right around there, and that's where we find them now. This is one of those animals that I really didn't know or didn't care about, and then Planet Zoo introduced them to me, and now whenever I see them in real life, I'm like, oh, it's a Dama gazelle. Oh my god, it's a Dama gazelle. Like, I like antelopes, guys. I like gazelles and the like. I really do, and I think Planet Zoo really is. I really have Planet Zoo to thank for that. But yeah, this is the vibe that you will honestly see all throughout Planet Zoo. What you're looking at right now is the palette of Planet Zoo. 4 rocks, Nitraria retusa bush, big trees, sand, and then plaster pieces. That is the sort of the theme that you'll see continue all throughout the zoo. I really fell in love with painting these arid landscapes, and I feel like the further I went into this zoo, I got better and better at it, for sure. But I feel even this is serviceable, right? Don't you agree? At the other end, you do get the desert. I didn't really detail the desert as much because it is a desert, but we'll get plenty more opportunities to look at that as we continue. And then one of my favorites, really, animals in the zoo, and that is the Adax. I was so happy to get them added to the game. They were one of my favorite mods, and then when they, you know, went official, so to speak, I was so happy. Look at those awesome horns. Gorgeous animals. We'll get plenty of better opportunities to check them out. That one is really showing itself off. This is where you would sit and listen to the educational talk of the desert to learn more about the desert environments and the animals that live in it, as you would hopefully see dromedaries stride past in distance or close by. And I feel like this panoramic moment is a little standout moment. I know that building is very ugly, guys. I struggled with that building a lot. I kind of did something and was done with it. I know it's terrible. You know what? If you ever download this zoo, build me a better one. Build me a better shelter/bridge. But yeah, still, this panoramic view, I am really happy with this. This is exactly what I envisioned. You get some hints at stuff that's beyond. We're not there yet by far, but there you go. Out of the building and back into the sun, into the heat, with the desert to our left. You can keep looking into it if you want, and to our right, the Adax habitat, and there's plenty of opportunities to see them also from a more raised perspective as we go here. Let's see if we can find them all. I believe they have some juveniles in here as well. They have plenty of shade because, you know, that's what they deserve, of course. I like them so much. I like these habitats. Now that I'm looking at them like this at the very end of my Bollo Bollo journey, I still think that these early habitats that I built, these habitats are, you know, they're like 2.5 years old at this point, but I still feel like they could stand with the rest of the zoo. If you see the entire video, you will be the judge of that. I did improve for sure, you know, if I may say so myself, but these ones work. These habitats work. They look great. The atmosphere is absolutely there as well. So this is a little sort of opportunity if you get lucky to view the desert animals close by, but they usually just make use of their huge amount of space to roam around. But sometimes if you get lucky, they hang around here. And right over here you get your sort of full circle moment. Check out the flamingos again. Check out their crazy building, which also actually is a home backstage for a very different animal, a much larger one, but also an aquatic African animal. You'll see that when we get there. As you can see, there's a lot to come. This zoo is very big, but we're actually going to do a quick jump cut, because we're going to Desert Mountain. Right, there we are, Desert Mountain. Not an imaginative name, you don't have to tell me, but you know, it's in the desert, it's a mountain, it's animals. Oh my god, fix that please, Yelboo. There you go, striped hyena. These are animals connected to the desert and sort of to a rugged, mountainous, harsh environment. I knew I should have double checked. Anyway, you get this long, and I did say processional a lot in the previous video where we visited this place, but it is intended to be a processional walkway, like really a ceremonial voyage up the mountain, and you get very up close views here of this gorgeous animal, one of the 4 species of hyena that exists. We have 3 of the hyena species in our zoo. And the hyenas are actually quite prone to swimming. I've seen spotted hyenas do that in captivity before, at least. So I guess they would love the opportunity to cool off. They have this second yard, so to speak. They don't visit it as often. You know, that's what Planet Zoo animals often do. They seem to prefer certain places in the habitat more than others. And we continue to rise and go up, and we will get some nice views of the area we just visited. Back there to our right, to our left, really there's not much to see. That is the entrance back there, and we get lots of rocks. And there we go at the first real stop here at Desert Mountain, where you can make a bit of a choice. You get the waterfalls there, and that is precisely what I wanted to happen. Didn't even need to jump cut for it. Above the waterfall there is a sort of Easter egg little hidden walkway for the Nubian ibex, and I think this waterfall also just had a lot of fun with it, taking this mask and making it spout water from its mouth. But that little moment there with the ibex walking past is like the photograph moment, right? That's the picture you want to take. That's the picture they would put in the booklet, to have this ibex striding past. And they might actually do it again if we got lucky. Past this little planted section, we do get this moment. I don't remember where I saw this first, and I know it doesn't function exactly because this looks like leakage for sure. But I saw someone put these water effects on glass, and it absolutely does look like a waterfall is streaming over you on the glass and then down there. And I'm just in love with that effect. I don't remember who I saw do it first. It's not my original idea. But you do get another desert herbivore here, the Aoudad, which at the moment all of them seem to be down there eating. So the Aoudad is a modded animal, in case you're not quite following. They have a section down there which they don't really, prefer visiting. They prefer to hang out here, and they very often choose to venture all the way up to this mountain, and often actually rest in the shade here in these 2 little caves. So yeah, a great animal there, addition to the zoo. I believe this is the male out of all of them. I think so, because he looks like he has the biggest horns. There we go. These are some crazy views. There's a lot going on in this zoo, guys, as you can tell. There's a lot more to come. So we say goodbye to the Aoudad, perhaps grab a drink or a muffin. Let's see if they do it again. Are we gonna get lucky? Come on, work with me. They're not going to do it again. But we had the little moment. We had the ibex moment. We are going to enter this little dome, which offers shade and perhaps a bit of peace and quiet for one of the calm yourself, for one of the smallest animals in Bollo Bollo, and that is the sand cat. They actually get a rather big habitat. Their traversable area isn't that big, but they get a lot of space here in this crazy little domed building. Why is Explore Mode always doing stuff like this? The sand cat, not a lot to say about this habitat, of course. I think a lot of builders will put these in habitats that are 1/3 the size of this, and I'm going to try and promise to myself to build more scale appropriate, but I just love giving my animals lots of space. That's just how I am. I kind of prefer the animals to have a good time in my zoos over the guests. And you'll notice that actually with all the backtracking and stuff that you have to do when visiting this zoo. But animals always come first in a Yelbu project. There's actually a bunch more animals to see. We continue on and we get a choice here. We are going to go to the right first for the second of 3 viewing opportunities we get for the ibex. As you can tell, they have a bit more of a private section back there. And then this is that little waterfall path that they could very easily escape from, I'm well aware. And then I believe the third and one of the best places to really check out the animals is from right over here, of course. Checking out the waterfall, checking out the sites with these 2 palaces back there, and the density of Bollo Bollo at play. All of the secrets still to be unveiled in this tour. But yeah, that is the Nubian Ibex. You'll realize at this point that there's a lot of mods in this game, in this zoo, and that is truth. Most mods that I found on the Nexus that were African animals are in this zoo as well. So bear with me if you ever want to download this zoo. You'll have to get the mods as well. I think I'm going to upload it as an empty zoo so that you can fill in yourself what you want. The caracal lives here in a unrealistic habitat as well, but that's Bollo Bollo for you. We only allow realism until it's not fun anymore, and then we start dealing with fantasy. That's the goal. The caracals are not present as of yet. They might be sleeping below us because we're actually walking over their little shelter. We have a very conceptual, high concept little eating area here with views of the enormous desert beyond us. Still no caracals. Yeah, not sure they're going to appear. A bit of a shame. Perhaps they'll return. And this habitat, I'm not going to spend too much time looking at it. We'll get another view at it later. But this is just like, I had this big empty space at the edge of the zoo. And like very early on, I put some fences around it and threw in like some giraffes and gazelles and the North African ostrich and called it a day. This isn't something that I took a lot of time building. And I'm not necessarily very, proud or hyped with how it looks. The concept works though. It's like you have the desert back there, almost a bit too empty, and then these animals. But it's not the habitat that I'll push for people to see as much as other ones. And yeah, spoilers of all the stuff that's yet to come. Caracals, are you out there? Where are you guys? I did put you in here, right? Let me double check. It's always good to check. Are you actually in this habitat? This doesn't really help. I actually might not have put them in here. Jump cut. Occam's razor dictates that the simplest explanation usually is the correct one. So yeah, I didn't put the caracals in here. So there you go. There the wonderful feline is feeling good, haha, in its habitat, which it could very easily escape from. I'm aware, just jump from here out of there. So welcome caracal to our little zoo tour. Where are they? This is one of those habitats that in truth, if you asked me to build a new caracal habitat, I would try something different from what you see here and also put it somewhere else and do it differently. But there you go. This is the caracal habitat. Oops, that's a fast boy. But that actually concludes Desert Mountain, meaning that you have to backtrack all the way to the end of this path. So let's just zoom down rather fast. not much processional about this walkway this time around. We're going to go a full sprint. And this is where I'm going to cut once again, because I need to take all of these animals out and put in all the animals into the next section of the zoo. And I'll do that right now. So hey guys, quick little jump cut later. I just found out why I couldn't find the caracals earlier, and that is because I had put them down in the, well, giraffe habitat, which was just a little misclick, but thanks to sandbox mechanics, nothing terrible has happened so far. So let's leave them to their devices in this massive habitat, and let's continue our trip through Bollo Bollo. Let us go right over here. Right, so after having completed our trip around this little section from which I have now removed the animals and up the mountain, we are now heading, as you can see, down to the river of life. This whole exhibit or concept is very straightforward. It will feature all sorts of animals loosely connected to Egypt or the Nile, or in a bit more broader sense, animals connected to rivers and aquatic life in Africa. But first one up is the crocodile, and I'll be honest, guys. While I absolutely am crazy about this simple, like conceptual structure, and I really dig the vibe of this crazy building, which is giving me like 90s Disney vibe for some reason, and the lake itself with the Nile Estuary and everything. The habitat that's hidden inside this weird dome structure is not my best. It was a high concept, low effort habitat, if I could call it that. Even with these railings that really just show my lack of patience when it comes to finishing things. But I'm not, and even the waterfall could be better. But inside of this weird little building is, well, I think right now I put a Nile crocodile in there, although the mod is a little borked and doesn't quite work the way I want it to. So there's also the African slender-nosed crocodile in there. The reason for that being that the Nile crocodile mod, although it has been updated, it just doesn't function, at least for me, doesn't really. They sort of swim above the water, they don't deep dive. But still, there is the Nile crocodile in here. I really wish this animal, perhaps not the most popular one for the general Planet Zoo audience, but I need this animal in Planet Zoo too. I need the Nile crocodile. It's that simple. For me, if I think crocodile, I think this guy. So thank you so much for the mod, but I really want the real deal in there. So we walk around. Right. Hang on. There you go. You know it's a Yelbu video when it's full of little chaos moments like that. I can't help it. It's just my personality. Anyway, we don't look at the ugly waterfall. In fact, guys, I don't want to be in this building for too long. The concept was very clear in my mind what I wanted to do here. The execution is not very strong. I'll be really honest. With this like walking glass moment over the water, and there's even a little secret there that again I really like, but yeah, even the shape of the building, I'm not sure what to say here. You get an alternative view here of that one also kind of forgettable habitat here with the border of the desert. I mean, not the border of the desert, the border of the zoo. Yeah, this isn't my favorite part of the zoo for sure, if I can be so self-critical, but we are instructed to follow the flow of the river because it still has a ways to go. But before we do that, we will say goodbye to the jaws in the depths, and before we get a chance to see the edge of the world, we're going to go... No, actually, let's see the edge of the world first, because you can take that quite literally, because this is the intended sort of viewing experience for the giraffes, although they have so much space. But as you can see, to sort of contrast with the large habitat and the giraffes and the ostrich, you also get a very simple habitat here for the banded mongoose, which is, in my opinion, the second best mongoose in the world, second only to the dwarf mongoose. If you know them, then you know that I'm right. And the meerkat, I mean, it's a wonderful creature, but they're kind of overrated, aren't they? The banded mongoose definitely takes the number 2 spot there. And then you get this large viewing window, and usually the giraffes would hang out here for their feeders, but they do have their shelter back there. So it's sort of meant to be like you get lucky here to see them kind of experience. You can also get a bit higher up and see the mongoose from up here and get maybe a bit of a better view. I mean, right now it mostly looks like an ostrich and a gazelle habitat. But right, moving away from those weren't definitely my favorite parts of the zoo. This here is something that I do like, although it used to contain a whole different animal altogether. This used to contain the Hamadryas baboon, or the olive baboon. I think it was the Hamadryas baboon, so you can kind of tell by the way it's designed that I went for that typical baboon, rocky, sparse environment. But I've moved the Hamadryas baboon elsewhere, but the olive baboon mod really wasn't working for me. It would start out glitching and animals would get stuck. So we get this common Patas monkey here, or is it the Blue Nile Patas monkey? I forget. They do get their little overpass and their monkey dwelling down there. If you've seen the earlier tour that I did of just the pre-YouTube zoo, that you see that they do use it, which makes me happy because the baboons never did. But right now they're not feeling it apparently. But one of the reasons that my frame rate is so low is coming up. This is the journey along the river banks, and you can already tell up there's some fish, and I put a lot of fish in there, and perhaps an unrealistic roster of them is coming up in this crazy little building. You get these little viewing opportunities. I almost forgot to show you these little viewing opportunities into the aquarium, but the main way of viewing them, of course, is through here. And then you get this large, massive habitat with, you know, it's kind of overstocked, isn't it? And I think a lot of these fish are actually predators and would attack some of the others, but you get a whole selection of African fish, and some of them specifically from the Nile. A big shame of this habitat, I have to be honest, is that when you stand here, the glass isn't see-through, but if you actually would get inside the habitat like so, you would actually be able to see through it, and this would be my ideal viewing experience, like with the actual desert beyond it. But this is what Plant Zoo decides to do with it. But yeah, there you go, a whole bunch of fish. I haven't messed with aquatic mods any further than this. I know it's such a big rabbit hole I could lose myself in. I'm going to be careful if I do continue building on my next zoo to not get too crazy with it, because I know you could build an entire zoo around building for these mods. But yeah, this is the introduction to the journey along the riverbanks, and there's some pretty nice stuff inside the building that I'm about to show you right now. This envisions a river and animals living at its borders or inside the river, and that's not true. Oop, seems like that sign got mixed up with another one. First up is the African sacred ibis living under these crazy skylights. Let me tell you guys, the roof to this building, I know I'm getting distracted, but the roof of this building took some time to build, and I know it doesn't really work. I mean, I like the building from the outside. From the inside, it's a bit of a different story. It's a bit wonky, but I'm not going to mess with it any further. So yeah, the Sacred Ibis, you could argue, is it nice? Is it depressing? I'm not sure. I think a lot of the zoos would add more detail to this wall in the back. I think that's true. But a sacred animal to the Egyptians, but actually doesn't really live there anymore. And at the other end, you have, I love this little moment, can't find us, check the water. The Nile Monitor, a pair of Nile Monitors live here. This one right now is on the land and the other one is as well. But they do have access to the water, and as you can tell, all the way below us, right up to the edge of the Ibis habitat. And even here, with this island with the heat lamps, and this island with the scratching pad, the Nile Monitor has a lot of swimming space. But right now they are actually on land, showcasing their terrestrial natures as well, with some Aldabra tortoises. A simple indoor habitat, and I do love the look of these lights and these windows. I have to tell you that this is, it's a vibe. I could very well again imagine these walls would be decorated with like murals to evoke an actual forest or something of the like. But again, I'm not messing with that necessarily. So down here actually leads to a restaurant, and if you order at the restaurant, you get to eat at this wonderful terrace and get a grand look not only of the pretty crazy building itself from the outside, which is one of my favorite views, to be honest, in terms of a building that I've made. And then you get a view here of the lake with the waterfalls and the Nile Letchway, and in fact the desert habitat there as well. More on that as we continue along the River of Life exhibit, because coming up next is a mod, and you already see them if you have a good eye. Well, actually something that I should have looked at. This is a viewing window with plenty of nice things to look at. If you get lucky, you can see the pygmy hippo out there, and as well as one of my favorite moments in the entire zoo, the Dueling Palaces. For the longest time they weren't there, but right now so many sightlines are instantly enhanced by the presence of these two crazy buildings. So whenever I do see them pop up in moments where there was nothing there before, I'm always a bit happy and pleased with my accidental planning. So we're not heading there just yet. We are going to check out the manatee first, which is very much also I think this is just a great view of the pygmy hippos. I had to put the window there, but the manatees are very much a screenshot animal, because the mod really has the habit of making them move, as you can tell, very fast, which is just normal. I love the mod. They look so good, and I feel like I built a nice, pleasant looking habitat for these manatees. Pretty spacious, and yeah, just I admire, that's a big word. I appreciate my own efforts here, let's put it like that. Pygmy hippo back there, another viewing window for them. And if you get lucky, which doesn't really happen often for these guys, the Nile Letchway has this little indoor section for, I guess, when they need some cover or some privacy, or perhaps they don't like the weather outside. There you go, there is a female heading inside, probably going to go for a rest in their little shelter there as well. And past the manatee, we have one final animal to look at, in fact. Then we're going to double back to check out a little hidden part that you might miss as a guest. But here is the mysterious swamp, which offers a home to the mysterious shoebill. There you go, there is the shoebill. There's two of them in here. They have plenty of opportunities to get away from guests if they want to underneath this path. And there's also the Egyptian plover, a very small bird, of which I believe the Romans believed that they sat in the mouth of crocodiles and cleaned their teeth, which just isn't true. So, but they still are called the crocodile bird to some people, and then this myth is sort of believed still, but it hasn't been documented in the wild ever. And yeah, another glimpse there at the Dueling Palaces. I love it. So, leaving, we are going to get some more opportunities to view the pygmy hippo, which is one of my favorite animals in the real world as well. Always love to see them. My local city zoo of Antwerp recently acquired a couple, and I'm just really a big fan of them. So I always put them in my zoos whenever I get the chance, which, you know, technically is every time I... Oh, oopsie. Technical difficulties. I'm not cutting that out. I show you the reality of zoo touring, even the gritty, harsh moments of it. Yeah, but you get this opportunity. Sometimes they do head down there. This one is doing it at the moment. So when they want to go for a little bit of a deep dive or a deep walk, they can have this moment right over here. Interestingly, this, I believe, or was it this? No, it was this. This actually used to be the aquarium, weirdly enough, which I had covered and everything. And this was the aquarium. And one of the reasons I removed that feature was that the animals I put in there had such a high, what's the word? Like, they were so attractive to guests that they would always crowd this little walkway. So I just had to get rid of them. Also an outdoors aquarium, it's probably not very wise at all. So I did put the pygmy hippo in here, and at the other end you get this wonderful, very lush little oasis for 3 different animals, in fact, and you can all see all of them here at the same time. The Eurasian spoonbill, which does migrate to Africa seasonally. The red river hawk, one of the best animals that you can buy with the DLC, to be honest. And you have the Sita Tunga back there. There's 2 females and 1 male. And always have I been a fan of the backdrop of this habitat here. Of course, the mud walls at this point, I wasn't confident enough to make them myself, so those are blueprint, but the implementation of them and adding all the tropical plants on top of them, and I feel that really sells this habitat and makes it feel secluded and isolated and its own little panorama. And definitely one of the highlights for me. And actually, just to sort of add to the private and isolated nature of it, there's actually a very large backstage for the animals. So because some of these animals are rather shy and they can just hang out back there and don't ever need to face the public, so to speak. So that is that section here. I love this habitat. I could look at it for a while longer. But you know, guys, if you want to check it out for yourself, the zoo is on the workshop probably as we speak. So go and check it out yourself. So we did our little backtracking because, you know, Jelbo's zoos are all about backtracking. We're going to speed past the manatees again. Let's see what they're doing. There's the 2 of them zooming past. But those doors are where we are headed. Also, thank you, Frontier, for these doors. These are really a game changer. They have been for me, at least. And then you get this shaded dome structure, which is sort of the intended viewing experience for the Nile ledgeway over here, which does, as you saw them earlier, they do have a habitat that stretches out all the way to that part, but they usually hang out here at their little pools, and they do still have their neighbors there with the big desert with the river running through it. Yeah, another great moment now that the zoo has come together for its entirety. it's a good little moment to just check out the density of what we've done here. And I'm using the Royal We, of course. I'm one of the only 2 people that really worked on this zoo. You'll find out all about that. So then you get a very, 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 very long walkway, which is very guest unfriendly. There's nothing to drink, there's nothing to eat, but you do get some nice sights. At this end, you of course can check out the Lechway again, or the desert will be on your right for the entire walk. But to your left, if you want to, you can try and see some other animals. Explore mode does not like this section of the zoo, so we're just going to do it like this. If you want to, it's not really designed like this, but you can check out this habitat, and this has not been on YouTube before. This is the aardwolf habitat, one of the, as I said before, one of the 3 species of hyena that Bollo Bollo actually has. And they have a habitat that actually has some levels beyond what you're seeing. This actually is a cliff that goes down, and the animals can actually get much closer to the water there. But this is the aardwolf, the smallest, I believe, of the hyenas, and they're mostly, I believe, insectivores, so they're not nearly as like menacing, perhaps, to some people as the hyenas, especially the spotted hyena, which does have this reputation of being a bit of an opportunist and a bully. They are great animals, don't get me wrong, I love them so much. So yeah, that is the aardwolf and the debut of this habitat on YouTube. We will of course end up standing here later on in the tour and get another opportunity to see them. And once again, yeah, the sightline there with the palaces. So happy now that it's all come together. So continuing on to the right, you continue to see the desert, and to the left you can actually get a look at the Grand Safari. There's no animals in there. Sorry guys, at the moment, as you can tell, the frame rate is 16 at the moment, with none of the animals in here. But yeah, I'm just going to bask in my own creation here. I love this sightline a lot, and it's kind of a shame that that my computers or the game can't really run it like the way I wanted it to. But there is a habitat coming up for us, and one of the 2 ways that you could view it is with this, again, explore mode doesn't like us walking here apparently, but this is the Hamadryas baboon outcropping cliff, you could say. There's not as many in here as there usually have been. But in fact, there's very few of them. They're probably eating or something, or resting in the shade below us. But this is where the baboon hangs out. This was like the 3rd video on my channel, I remember, or at least the 3rd Planet Zoo video on my channel. And yeah, as you can see, we get ample opportunity to look at them again later on. And another preview here at all that is left to come. Believe me, guys, there is a lot more to come here in Bollo Bollo, and I feel like we even caught a little glimpse there of another inhabitant right over there. As we going to, oh my god, yeah, this is what I mean, guys. This is the backstage between parentheses of Bollo Bollo, like very low effort. No effort went into making this even sort of realistic, so don't even go looking there. But this very ridiculously long walkway mercifully eventually ends, and you end up right over here. And yeah, you've seen this site before, but I'm always happy to return here and see the flamingo and then the big baobab trees in the back. It's always a great sight, and I just love how colorful this all turned out to be. When I started Bollo Bollo, I had just been building Le Bol, which is a zoo that I uploaded, and I just knew that I wanted a colorful zoo with really striking contrasts and playful. And I feel like I accomplished that moment so far with Bollo Bollo, that it was colorful, playful, and yeah, sort of Disney-esque, especially with this centerpiece trio of baobabs. So we have completed pretty much, as I'm going to zoom out, this section of the zoo. As you can tell, there's still a lot to come, so after the jump cut, we're going to explore this section of the zoo. Classic Yelmu moment. I teased something and then I never showed it to you. Let's go back to the lair of Sobek right here underneath the crocodiles, because there is something to show you here. Again, my guests hate this. They never come here, but we are going to do it anyway. You get a little underwater restaurant here to dine on probably thematic food as you sit and watch the crocodiles swim overhead or next to you. And I think this was a fun idea. I'm going to try and do something like this again, better around next time around, and try and find a way that guests will actually use this, because I don't think I've ever seen a guest make use of this place, even when I put some restrooms in here as well. But I mean, wouldn't you come here and have dinner or lunch? I mean, you would, right? You would want to sit here and have this little experience with the crocs. I definitely would. So just wanted to show you that before we moved on. Alright, moving past the flamingos, we're going to return to the starting area right quick and get into the second oldest part of the zoo, so to speak, and that is Roman Rocks. As you can see, the logo back there. And in fact, there's an animal right at the entrance that I didn't really show you before. So let's return to this entrance little square where you can try and get your bearings before you enter this mad and magical zoo. And you can check out this weird little habitat that houses the Ankole Watusi cattle, also known in the United States. I recently, as the Texas Longhorn cattle, I believe, but they are of course originally an African animal, domesticated, known for their very, very, very large horns. And they live in this strange temple courtyard-like environment. This used to be the pelican habitat. And for a very long time, that's what it was, and that's what it remained to be. But the pelicans just didn't really work for some reason. The mod or the behavior of the animals, something about them made them behave in a weird way in this habitat. Namely, they would just swim at the very edge of the water from that side to that side and never actually approach the rest of the water. I hate that they are jumping like that. But that is the habitat here at the entrance. Perhaps a bit unspectacular, but hey, we put something there, and it's not going to go away. So actually, I'm going to go a little weird and not going to enter Roman Rocks right away, but I want to go here, because this, and let me zoom out a little bit, this, guys, is the part of Bollo Bollo that makes me so extremely happy, and I hope that you will agree with me. To the left you have the flamingos, and to the right you have the African penguin and the pelican, and this is so colorful and so bright and so cheerful, and it always cheers me up. It came together so well, and with just this colors of pink and green and brown and orange and everything. This is such a cheerful environment to me, and I really hope that it comes across to you what I intend to build here with Bollo Bollo. So, but we're going to kind of keep this for last. We're first going to enter this part of Roman Rocks, and then we'll return, and then we'll do this part on foot. So, Roman Rocks, what is that all about? Well, you kind of must have guessed it. This part of the zoo was imagined to be a Roman ruin here in North Africa, in Algeria specifically, but a wealthy tycoon came and perhaps sort of disrespectfully turned it into a zoo, and probably really destroyed some actual genuine relics and artifacts to turn it into a zoo. But hey, that's the vibe that I'm going for here. So Roman rocks will feature kind of like aquatic animal, Mediterranean animals. There's not really an extremely cohesive theme, except for they're sort of connected to water / the Mediterranean / I just used 4 rocks in the habitat. That's kind of the idea here for Roman rocks, and of course using Roman sort of limestone architecture. So coming right up here to get us started is the Mediterranean monk seal, and they have this moat in between their water section. Back there they sort of have like an amphitheater feel, scaled to the seals, of course, not quite to humans. And I will say, you might have guessed it, this sort of habitat design I've seen in plenty of other zoos, and there of course the water comes right up to the rim of the habitat, of the glass. And I'll be honest, that's what I tried to do here, and then I realized I had done it wrong. And I could still... Hang on, am I gonna do a late change to Bollo here? What if I just do this mid-tour, because that's how we roll. Okay, I'm pressing a whole bunch of buttons, but jeez. And this guy says he's played Planet Zoo for over 1,000 hours, and he can't even press the button to... What if we lower it right now? How do we feel about this? It's actually the first time I've complained about not having done that and actually taken action. Does that work better? Yeah, it does, right? Yeah, I'm keeping it in. Yeah, so I'll take that back, guys. Look at how well I did that. Look at the amazing work I did there, adjusting the barrier. So yeah, the Mediterranean monk seal, they do love to spend their time in the shade there, but actually most of them are swimming right now, and they usually are lazier than this. But look at that one. Amazing. But yeah, I think this is just a fun little habitat. Doesn't really need much more than this to be entertaining. And oh my god, I completely missed this view of the African penguin and the pelican here. Yeah, the African penguin is one of my favorite animals in the world. I just love the way they look, the way they move, the way they sound. So I had to put them front and center in Bollo Bollo. And they get this amazing habitat. We'll see this side later on. And of course live here together with like 12 pelicans and they actually do move around the whole water area. They use these islands a lot, but they have a lot more space coming right up. And I love that they're deep diving as well. So that checked out. We get another view here of their more beach area in between water sections. As you can tell, there's a building there, and this is a very deep basin, which the penguins very often use for deep diving. But I just like this beach environment where they can rest in the shade if they want to, build nests and the like. And I know a lot of people recolor the faux rocks, but the color fit the environment so well, in my humble opinion, that I never really changed them. And I've really grown enamored by the look and aesthetics of... yeah, guys, look, this has just been a lot of fun to build. The third and final look here is just a section that they don't really use that often. And you can look at the seals here once again. We're not going to go left just yet. We're going to go uphill. And we do get some glimpses into what's to come, but we're not there yet. We are moving past this view of the seals. And to our left, you are going to get your first glimpses at a habitat that really has given me more headaches than anything else. And of course, they're not visible because, you know, this habitat, I have a complicated relationship with it. But as you can see, there's monkeys there. This is the Barbary macaque. And the Barbary macaque, in case you don't know it, is the only animal technically living in Europe. Not the only animal, did I say animal? The only primate. Why is my escape button not working? Okay guys, in case you didn't notice, my computer is sort of acting up, but I want to continue recording the tour, so we'll just do it like this. This is a bit of a fun and playful little themed section for you to grab something to eat, something to drink, maybe a zoo map in case you hadn't gotten one yet. And this interesting, funky little building is actually the indoor habitat for the Barbary macaque. There you go. And yes, the only primate technically living in Europe. If you go and look it up, they live in Gibraltar, in the very, very, very south of Europe, very south of Spain. So yeah, this is the European monkey, and that's why it also belongs, of course, to Roman rocks. So I like this indoor habitat a lot. I feel like I executed as well. If they want to, they can climb all the way up here and jump and jump and jump, and then they can actually use these two tunnels above the head of the guests to enter their habitat here. And as you can tell, there's actually plenty of them using it at the moment. And the habitat itself, we're not getting the optimal view here just yet, but as you can tell, it's rocks with wooden platforms, and they can crawl all around it and jump all around it. And it looks better than it works. It's just a habitat where the climbing system disagrees with it all of the time, and the monkeys start glitching out and end up appearing inside the mountain. And I bet you that these 4 up here are actually stuck and they can't get off. I'm actually pretty convinced that they're actually stuck there because they look too comfortable there. But yeah, that is this section. You get a bit of a teaser for something that's up there that we're not going to arrive at just yet. And we shall continue on and backtrack, because that is the Bollo Bollo way. Back to explore mode we go. Because we went right just there, we're going to go left this time around and left again. Because we're going to come up to one of the few buildings in here that I genuinely can say that I'm really happy with, mixing all of these colors and the Roman vibes with the modern vibes and the African vibes, and, combined with the little final view here of the beach here with the penguins and the pelicans. I really like this building. The restaurant, and which also offers viewing opportunities for a whole bunch of animals. And it didn't look quite this way. By the way, this is a blueprint by Caesar Creates. I didn't quite make that, but it didn't look like this when I built it. But the density of the view now that Bollo Bollo is finished, and especially at a moment like this, every time I do this little explore mode tour and I arrive here, I am just beaming with joy at how well this comes across. The colors, the density of the foliage and everything, and all of the parts of the habitats. It is such a glorious sight. It is chaos incarnate, because that is the Bollo Bollo spirit in truth. But we'll also zoom out a bit in a minute and check out the building. But if you stand here, you get an exclusive view here of the African buffalo and the springbok at their watering hole. And sometimes they come down here, but they usually hang out in this section of the habitat. And this is also one of the builds that you saw on YouTube, one of the very first ones. But still pretty pleased with it. The sparse planting, the 4 rocks, and then you get those very dramatic structures there that at one point were even more suggestive than than this. I had to delete certain parts of it to but still, you know, if you know their history, there's something about these rocks, you know. But before we dive into the Shadow Trail, this is where we are headed next. This is the bird section of our zoo. And honestly, something about the vibe of this has really made it one of my favorite places in Bollo Bollo. Before you arrive at the big bird dome to your right and to your left, there's some antelope habitats or gazelle habitats with some famous birds of Africa. So if you look to your left, you will see the iconic marabou stork with the wonderful backdrop there of the Shadow Trail, most of it, and the sable antelope, which is a base game animal that I never really used that often, but kind of after seeing them in real life in a zoo recently in Beekseberg in the Netherlands, I got a newfound appreciation for these guys. They're strong, they're tall, they're full of attitude. So I'm very happy to give them this amazing home here in Bollo Bollo. And yeah, I've become, as I said before, a big fan of all of these African hoofed herbivores. Really appreciate and enjoy building for them. To the right, you have a gazelle. Grant's gazelle, a tall and agile gazelle, and they are living here with a couple of the gray-crowned crane. And habitats like this, guys, I have so much fun now building stuff like this. Something about the biome of desert and the dried plants and everything has really become second nature to me. I mean, it would be weird if it wasn't, of course, but I love painting little pictures like this, and I just love looking at it. I've sort of, yeah, really become a huge fan of creating nature scenes like this in Planet Zoo, and it's what I hope stands out for any build that I do, and will continue to do so. We are not going to enter the big dome yet. We're going to go, you know, why not counterclockwise around it. As we get a last look here at the Grant's Gazelle, we're going to approach these 4 aviaries that are very simple in terms of build, but I feel like I'll zoom out at the end. It all just works very well together. This first habitat, you perhaps can tell, was meant to be a Cape vulture habitat, but I changed my mind and refurbished into the vulturine guinea fowl over there. And perhaps you can still tell the vulture origins of this habitat, but it is the vulturine guinea fowl that lives here. Yeah, a great mod by Great Cake Mods, one of the first bird mods that I remember them releasing, and really launched them onto the scene. They get a lot of space to themselves. And next up is the one of the tallest cranes, South Africa's national bird, if I'm not mistaken, the blue crane. They get a spacious aviary to themselves with a waterfall and some water, plenty of shade, and enrichment. And there you go, that's them hanging out. Thank the Lord for the red-crowned crane that has allowed so many bird mods into the world, the storks and the cranes and the like. And I also thank modders, of course. I know from experience that Explore mode does not like this little section of path. Or, yeah, so I gotta do this a little bit, whoopsie, and put ourselves down here again. Because next up is to one of the most requested animals, in fact, in Planet Zoo history, and one of my favorite birds in the world. That is, of course, the secretary bird and the southern ground hornbill. They get a lot of space in this lush aviary. Space, of course, is what I meant to say. But yeah, I love these guys so much. Here in Antwerp Zoo, they have a pair of them, and I just love the way they look, the way they move, their big eyelashes, their claws. Huge fan of them. And then there is, of course, the secretary bird. For the longest time, it was an animal that a lot of people, at least on the Planet Zoo forums, wanted to get in the game. Of course, as you know, it never happened. We have wonderful modders that put this bird into the game. Anyway, I mean, looking at this, like, I can't really see Frontier doing that much better than the amazing modders that we have. So we still have a chance, if you're NPC at least, to get these amazing creatures into the game, these snake hunters of the African savanna. And then the final aviary here is a bit more tropical and offers a home to, if you will look on the ground, the Congo peafowl. There's 2 of them pecking at the ground here. There should be a male in here as well. And there is also the silvery-cheeked hornbill. And they can be rather hard to find. There is one of them. They do love to use this enrichment, because this is one of those birds that will actually have animations with the enrichment and stuff. But they're being kind of mysterious, I will say. Not unlike real aviaries, where sometimes you don't get to see all of the birds present at the same time, and maybe repeat visits will reveal them to you. And after spotting those 4 aviaries and the inhabitants therein, we are going to approach the big dome in the middle. And this habitat has changed a lot in terms of who lives in it, but at the moment, let's go and check out who lives in the Great Bird Dome. It is a large and spacious and full of shadow environment, and the birds have ample opportunity to fly and roam around. So inside this habitat, as you can see, is the great blue turaco, which is actually one of the bird mods that will fly instead of a walking animation. And I wonder if they're going to showcase that at all. Perhaps we'll get the chance to see that. We have the northern hornbill, these Abyssinian hornbill. We have the crested guinea fowl. And I believe we also should have the saddlebill stork in here. And I believe there is one of those turacos flying. Wonderful. Yes, there we go. We also have the bald ibis in here, one of the 2 kinds of bald ibis. And I mean, I could put many more birds in here, or fewer, or bird statues. This is sort of, I mean, I almost encourage you to get this, to download this too, perhaps on the workshop, and put your own selection of favorite African birds in here. You could have a lot of fun with this, putting many more in here. But let's just say this is just a frames per second friendly selection of them. And yeah, the dome looks like this, of course. Pretty nice environment. I would imagine many more free-flying birds that live in here and would sit in the trees or rest on these armrests for the guests. And I think this would be a very popular spot in the zoo to take a seat and just enjoy the environment here. But we are not going to do so. We are going to move on, and we are going to enter the Shadow Trail. Jeez Louise, my computer is acting up right now. I think this zoo is stretching it to the very limits. Anyway, I promised you I would zoom out, and there you go. Yeah, I mean, nothing crazy, nothing wild about this building, but I just really like the way this came together. It's one of those moments where really, if you put it all together, the habitat and the layers and the foliage and then the look of the world around it, and then you really can feel pleased with yourself. There is this little area up top, which there is no stairs leading up to this. I will not explain to you how you can get there. Even here, there's nowhere to get up here, and let's actually keep that a mystery. Actually, from inside here, you have plenty of opportunities to view the animals, including this exclusive viewing area where you can get the penguins zooming past during your dinner. And the more penguins you put in here, they just love this little area. So this is not the most decorated part by me, but also this staircase is a blueprint as well. So let's actually go back into explore mode, because there's much more to be seen inside of here. There is the little kitchen, the restrooms are here as well. but you actually have 2 more animals you can look at, and these guests are looking at one of the smallest habitats in the zoo. In fact, not deliberately or something, but that is for the serval, this small spotted predatory cat from the African savanna. And there you go, it has this little area nestled in between the rocks. As you can see, there's another way to look at them, which we will go to soon. And I just love these little guys. I would also take a picture there, although it kind of looked like the picture didn't work or something. Yeah, the serval there. And then look at this. I'm so happy with this. I didn't even look this way yet. Look at the density that I made here, guys. I'm just happy that I'm finished with Bollo Bollo. Can you tell? I'm just sitting here smiling. That is, of course, as you know by now, the lion habitat. You saw one there, and that is also why I put the glass window in, for you to have the opportunity from anywhere standing here to look up and have the opportunity to see a lion walking past. And that is the sight line that I really wanted. That is why I made this window glass. But yeah, you have all of this stuff yet to come, and the monorail and everything. I am happy, in case you can't tell. So this is one of the 3 viewing experiences you can get for this unique habitat, which houses number 1, the Klipspringer, this adorable little antelope, I believe, gazelle, and there's also this wild baboon-like monkey here, and that is the Gelada baboon. Look them up. They look weird in this mod, but they look even crazier in real life. What an intense-looking creature. But yeah, the Klipspringer they have, and the Gelada, kind of often combined sort of animal. Just small monkeys like this and small goat-like creatures like this. I've seen them combined several times, but there's like 3 levels to this. This is the top level, which sort of is mostly private. This middle level where they hang out often, and then a bit obstructed from our view is the ground level. And you can already tell that I try to do something creative here with paths inside the habitat, and especially when we're going to be standing there. I think you'll agree with me. I hope that it really works, and that it's something I'm going to try and do again soon. And I don't see people do that often, so I'm kind of going to pat myself on the shoulder there and say, well done, Yelbo, you did something that few people do. And there you go. We are leaving the restaurant and the coffee bar. Perhaps we can grab a donut or something made by Caesar Creates. I mean, the donut, it wasn't made by him in-game, but you know what I mean. And that is the next place for us to go, the macaque habitat from up here. I should have placed more of them in here, but in truth, guys, I'm going to tell you, if you load in this habitat, you will notice right away that it's kind of cursed. And the monkeys don't really use it the way I wanted it to, and it looks great, but I think all of them are just stuck. I think that's what happened. I think they're all just stuck on this little part of the rock, and it looks nice, but they're just not going to be moving any more than this. Perhaps if I like delete a part of this and then reset it, the climbing resets or something, who knows? That often does the trick, kind of. But yeah, a concept that I should refine in the future for sure. And so I'm giving you this tour, warts and all, guys, including the things that didn't really work as well as I wanted it to. But you know, if we continue all the way up here, you will see that if you imagine like 20 to 30 of these macaques on here, it would be a really fun habitat. So if I get the chance to do this again, I will, of course. And then you get this viewing opportunity here from up top. If we push past the people here, you get the African buffalo and the springbok from this angle. rolling in the mud there. Lovely. And as you can see, there's also a viewing opportunity from down below, right across from the Shadow Trail entrance, which is going to be very soon the next part that we are going to tour. This building itself, like you could see in the video about the Shadow Trail, is a blueprint, wasn't made by me. I saw someone, I believe on Reddit, post this, and I knew I had to put it in Bollo Bollo. What a lovely build. But we will go right over here. Just a little bit of backtracking, because that's the Bollo Bollo way. I want to, just for clarity's sake, I want to show you the alternative way to look into some of these habitats. Although they come chronologically, they would come later. I want to show them now. This is the penguin and pelican habitat, like this. It would appear like most of the penguins are elsewhere at the moment, but I feel like you get the gist of this. A colorful, cheerful, playful little habitat for them. And then you get this round rotunda here, with the trees in the middle. Excuse me. Sure, you go right ahead and do that. You get this colorful tree experience here in the middle, very much trying to evoke some sort of Animal Kingdom vibe. And then, I just have to keep looking at this part. But as you can tell, you can look at the penguins from here, at their little beach, with their wonderful shade offered to them by these acacia trees. And then the serval has another viewing opportunity that you can have from here. And it would appear like they're both snacking on this blood pumpkin up there. So we got to see them from here. And yeah, I think this is just a nice little section here. This is kind of probably like one of the most realistic habitats in here, just in terms of the size and everything. And then coming up or next across from the flamingo pond is the gelada and klipspringer. If you can get lucky, you can see them climbing these rocks as one is heading up there right now. You can see them hang out here in the sun, or as that one is demonstrating, you can observe them climbing down, and that's where we are headed. Also, this is a view that will hopefully entice you to keep watching, because there's the Lion Mountain, and there you go. That's exactly what I hope to achieve once again. I think you know by this point that this is a blueprint. It's on the workshop. It's been there for a long time. So that lion statue is not a creation of mine. This African village, across from it, you still have the gelada and klipspringer, and that is what it looks like from down here. Like this works, right? I feel like with the faded paint and everything and the concrete, I'm really happy with that. And I think I'm going to try and put paths like this, because they automatically offer you such a realistic like texture and everything that I wouldn't be able to find in game, because I'm not really a master of these pieces yet. But I love that they're actually using it, and that is not just decoration but actually being used by the animals. And two more things that we're going to check out before I'm going to do a quick jump. We're not going to visit the meerkats just yet in their crazy little bubbles. We're going to check out the watering hole for the buffalo, which has a sort of a... I feel like in a zoo you would put fish in here, right? You would have fish swimming here and have ducks visiting, but if you get lucky, you can sort of get an eye level view here of the buffaloes. But the optimal viewing experience is right here. with the springbok and the African buffalo back there. They do have rather big space to them over there that we can't see right now, but there you go. There's the two animals that live in here. And then one more section that's not really part of Roman rocks, but that is where we're going to end this little section of recording. Really, this is one of those moments where I could imagine people would want to climb up, which I don't, you know, this is kind of allowed, and check out this part of the habitat. Nothing to be seen, of course, because why would the tour? We're not going to look left just yet. To the right, a little restroom and snack section, and just a cute little eating area. Funnily enough, one of the last things I built in Bollo Bollo, even though it's in a pretty old section, and I actually think it works rather well with all the browns. Again, I keep saying this about the desert biome, but the way the lighting works in these environments, I know the Planet Zoo lighting has this automatic rustic feel to it, but the browns in the desert vibe and then these browns in this wood, mwah, fantastic. Huge fan of how this looks. So yeah, just a cute little section. And up there, oh my god, I didn't do this again. So I'll actually spoil you through the education boards what's in here. This is a vulture for the Cape vulture, a vulture, did I say vulture? An aviary for the Cape vulture, the Egyptian vulture, and the North Atlantic great cormorant, which is an animal that does visit Africa from time to time, so I put it in here. But this is my aviary for all of these creatures. The Egyptian vulture, the Cape vulture, for some reason all of them are backstage at this moment. I would sort of hope that they would actually try and venture out. So the cormorant has its little water section there. And then for the vultures, I built all of this, you know, of course, suggested places for them to perch right over there and there and there and these branches. And I put poop on the ground for to really make it look accurate, like that is where they would sit and that is where their poop would land. But I'm kind of wondering why they're all just backstage at this moment. Are they stuck or something? Come on guys, come on out. They're just okay. Let's go look at this. This backstage isn't detailed or anything, but just so you know who's in here. The Cape vulture doing a little bit of fighting animation, actually, that's nice. And then the Egyptian vulture is in here as well. So there you go. They're all just in their little backstage, which you're not really supposed to see. So let me just showcase the vibe of this aviary. It does have cormorants deep diving at the moment, which I love. And that is the aviary. And then guys, the rest I'm going to record tomorrow. Not that it matters to you when you're watching the video, but it is sort of a psychological stop for me because we need to deal with the shadow trail and the like. So yeah. Alright, we find ourselves here again. We came from the stairs down that we did earlier, and we are again walking past the Cape Buffalo, but we are headed towards this building, because that is the entrance to the shadow trail. So let's talk about it. The shadow trail was a big project of mine where I envisioned a large section of the zoo devoted to forest animals and the more tropical aspects of Africa. I will say I wasn't completely feeling myself, so to speak, when I was building it, and a lot of the habitats there were kind of a struggle to build. I was a bit lacking in ideas. I mean, this first one that I don't think the animals inside are going to showcase in the way I would hope them to. I don't think they're going to appear here, but this first lemur habitat, as you can tell, is fun. You're sort of getting teased that they're here. But let's actually go to the entrance and let's see if we can find it fully. So the shadow trail with the wonderful blue print entrance is designed deliberately as some sort of maze. It is hard to traverse, it is hard to find your way, because it is, of course, meant to be a mysterious forest kind of environment. So we are just going to head through it. I know what habitats are in here, so I know where to go, but I would sort of imagine that guests would try and find their way through this maze. And the first little moment here in the shadow trail that we're actually going to check out is right over here. It is one of the optional views that you're going to get in the zoo for the African leopard. So I believe we saw one up there. They have a pretty interesting habitat with plenty of interesting climbing frames and places for them to go. It's a quite complex build, and it would actually seem that at the moment they're not right over here, which is fair. You know, they have so much space and interesting hooks and crannies for them to go. We'll no doubt see them later. So that is one option that we had, just to visit the African leopard. That is a staff area. We're not going to go quite there yet. But yes, to enter the shadow trail is right over here. And we're going to try and go through it in this direction, starting with actually a build that is not mine. The first build we're going to check out is a guest build, and it is one of the only guest builds that I've ever had in my zoo, and the only one of its kind in Bollo Bollo, and that is by the amazing builder Nausicaa, whose zoo I actually toured. One of their zoos I toured on this channel. An amazing builder, and they made this mandrill forest for me, and it's so good with those structures, with the shade on top and the lushness and the moat with the reeds and everything. And I really am happy that I asked them to lend a hand in building, because I was, as I said, sort of running out of imagination for this section. But they really made the area. They really complemented the area with this little section. And actually, the best part of this habitat is coming up still, because right at the end here you get this amazing mural of a mandrill that is completely constructed out of decal pieces. Just I believe it's the moss pieces, but colored. And then you get this staircase that is not traversable by the Planet Zoo guests, but luckily it is traversable for us. And you can check out the mandrills from this direction, getting more of a vertical view of their habitat. So that is the mandrill forest here in the shadow trail. I love it so much, and I'm so happy that I could offer Nausicaa that chance to build in my zoo. It's an amazing moment. We're going to head back because we actually walked past one of the habitats, and we're going to go right over here for the bongo habitat. The bongo, of course, one of Africa's more reclusive, more forested animals. And I believe we have 5 of them in here in this mysterious, secluded and private environment, surrounded with these stark black stone structures. So there's 5 of them in here. Again, I feel like this build I would do it a bit differently if you asked me to build it now, but I'm still happy with it. So we're going to go, as I said, clockwise. So let's backtrack again, because that's just how we roll here. You get some viewing windows into the bongo habitat over here, a bit less obstructed, a bit more different. But let's walk around it, because it's funny. I've told you it's a maze. I'm already getting lost myself and contradicting my statement that we would go clockwise around it. But let's just check out the whole bongo habitat, because I believe, there you go, there is another way to view them from here. If they venture into the lower part of the habitat, this is where you could see them. In the middle of the shadow trail, there is this dome, which for a very long time sat completely abandoned. I didn't know what to do with it, but I very recently filled it in. And across from the dome, we have the ring-tailed lemur habitat with blueprint climbing frames. None of these I built myself. That is where their backstage is, but they usually hang out in this part of the habitat with this wonderful blueprint climbing frame. So a classic, a staple, of course, in any zoo, let alone an African zoo. And at the back of this, you actually get a backdrop of the Okapi forest, which is a habitat featuring 3 tropical African forest animals. Of course, with the most iconic one being the Okapi. You get the 2 blue duckers there and some bush pigs. We're going to get a chance to see all of them in more detail later on. Let us continue. I love that I said clockwise and I'm doing the opposite. But this habitat is one of the last ones that I built. And would you look at this awesome panoramic view? This is what I hoped I would achieve in building the shadow trail. And it is creating this feeling that you are in a forest and that any moment of light is very, different. This feels immediately very different from this part of your view and this, and that is the idea, because you get this very lush semi-aquatic habitat for the water buck, which is a wonderful mod. And if you look closely at the back, you do get the massive African elephant, savanna elephant habitat. And there is a hidden moat there, of course, but you wouldn't really be able to tell from here where that moat is exactly. So that is the black buck habitat. It is simple in its design. It's just a long field with plants and water, but I feel like it really works and really fits in the area, and the backing choir there of the elephants really works to its advantage. And now that Lion Mountain is done, it doesn't look too shabby either to look in this direction, don't you think? And yeah, believe it or not, there's still a ways to go in this habitat, in this zoo exhibit. So let's go over here. We're not going to go there just yet. That is the African primate section. Let us go to one of these mysterious domed viewing platforms, because this is the ideal place to stand if you want to see into the Okapi forest. Again, I would build this kind of differently if I had the chance now. It's kind of hard to make a tropical thing in a desert biome. I tried my best, but there you get one of those bush pigs. There's actually plenty of them in here. It seems like they are they're drinking back there. But that is the okapis for you. Sometimes they venture out here, but they usually don't. And I intentionally made this into a habitat that offered a lot of privacy for these animals, because famously the okapi is reclusive and shy and mysterious. It wasn't known to the Western world. It's up to you to decide if that actually matters, until quite recently. And with that I mean like I believe late 19th century. But the bush pig is here as well. Right, so that is the Okapi forest for you. There's nothing for us over there. We are going to check out this next, of course. But we need to complete the shadow trail first. Let's do a little run. Because there's still 2 habitats left for us to find. If we go over here, actually 3 habitats. This place is such a maze. I love it. I imagine guests sort of wandering through it, finding habitats and wondering and realize like, oh, this is here. That's my cat again. I'm not going to cut out my cat. I love her. So this is the Shifaka habitat, the cockerel's Shifaka habitat. You can see them bouncing around back there. I believe I mentioned that in the video when I was showcasing this habitat. I really wasn't entirely satisfied with what I built here, and I still am not. Most of what you're looking at is blueprints, climbing frames, but you know, it's such a chaotic little environment. It sort of lacks the cohesion that other parts of the Shadow Trail perhaps have. It's not my best habitat, I'll be really honest with you. It's a great animal, and they do make use of the climbing frames, and I do stick to the theme of the Shadow Trail all throughout. And I believe the classic here is next to the Shifaka. You have its, I believe, one of its only, or perhaps its only natural predator, and that is the fossa. There's two of them in this large enclosure. This is not too shabby either, but again, I remember when building this, I wasn't happy, to the point that I even sort of stopped building on the Shadow Trail altogether and moved to a different part of the zoo, because I was kind of getting disappointed in my own realization of the vision I had. And this section still of the zoo is one with question marks around it, for sure. But it also at the same time features some of my favorite parts in the entire zoo. So I guess that's how it works. There is a secondary viewing here of the fossa. I put two of them in here. I've only seen one so far. But let's move away. We're going to check out another animal from Madagascar, the Madagascar flying fox, I believe, with this interesting exhibit for them. And as you can already see, as you walk through this exhibit, you get a very, very large animal coming right up, and you have plenty of opportunities to view them. This is but one section of the African forest elephant habitat. It's spacious, it's big. It actually is home to two large mammals. I think you've seen both of them at this time, and it is a very, very long habitat. There's still a huge part of it that you cannot see at the moment, because actually most of the elephants seem to be hidden from view at this moment. But again, this is what I wanted the Shadow Trail to be, right? This artificial canopy above you, and then at the edge of the forest, the light really works to your advantage, and really, and I believe that is even better demonstrated in what's coming up next. This is the other end of that lemur habitat, and this time around you do see them making use of these climbing frames. They have these little concrete islands above these cliffs. I feel like I remember these cliffs being a natural formation in Madagascar, the Tsingy cliffs, with these plants, blueprints from ZSH Place in fact, and we have the red ruffed lemur and the black and white ruffed lemur just having fun with this entire enclosure. And yeah, this was one of those places in the Shadow Trail that I am very happy with. Although they don't always use the entire habitat, and like all monkeys, they just love to sit at the entrance. But still happy with how this looks. But at the other end is a very, very different experience. One that I'm very happy with, and that is this little seating area with a more panoramic view of this part of the forest elephant habitat. And again, it looks like most of them are still hidden from view. We still get these two to represent their species in here, but it kind of looks like a whole new forest starts back there. It doesn't, of course. Beyond that is, a desert, but it still has this vibe that you're just looking at the very edge of a forest, and that was the goal. So let us actually continue for another view there. You get more of these elephants. I wonder where the buffaloes are. Are they all in their shelter? That would be kind of disappointing. There's a whole gaggle of ducks back there just walking in a line. I would hope that they would also swim from time to time. And right across from this aviary, have the vultures left? The vultures have left. Most of them have left their shelter, but they're still just standing there. But the final moment to view the elephants is of course in here. You can stand over here and check out the elephants to your left if they're over there. You can stand over here and check them out, but it looks like a lot of them have just decided to go to sleep or have returned from resting. And let's just zoom out already and check out. I believe like many of the buffalo. Where are the buffaloes at? I put plenty of them in here, but I guess they're in the forest. But yeah, this habitat is a very, very big one, because that's of course how Yelbu loves to build. He doesn't like to build small habitats. So a huge habitat here at the... Although it's not at the center of the Shadow Trail, I feel like it is the heart of the Shadow Trail, right? The showstopper moment here for this little section of the zoo. And then we just have one final place to go, and that is that dome in the middle. And you approach it like this. As I said, I didn't put anything in here for the longest time, and I almost forgot that it was empty when I made the announcement that Bollo Bollo was done. But then I just went in and finally got rid of my anxiety surrounding this building and put a lot of tropical plants in here and made it just a lovely little butterfly garden. With, of course, these aren't modeled butterflies, so most of these are European butterflies, but you know, you can just use some suspension of disbelief and believe that these are African butterflies in this lush environment. And I feel like this would be a very quiet place in the zoo, probably with some nice music playing, and you would just sit here, enjoy the more, you know, enjoyable temperatures, but you still get plenty of interesting views from the dome here at the whole exhibit around it. And very pleased with that, how that came about. So that concludes the Shadow Trail. We are now going to head to the Great Ape habitats that I built to the north of this habitat. It is an area I sort of arrogantly called the Bollo Bollo Great Apes Research Institute, although there's not too much research going on, but that is what I'm going to show you next. So without further ado, we leave the Okapi forest behind and we are going to approach the Great Apes habitats here in Bollo Bollo. And like all Great Ape habitats in the real world, you're just going to have to get lucky to see them indoors or outdoors. But I love this little moment where you can see both of them at the same time. We're just going to go right first and check out this little seating area and our view of the Bonobo Island. Bonobo Island was the first ape habitat that I ever built for a great ape. I had never built for bonobo, chimpanzee, gorilla, or well, for the orangutan I had, but for the African apes I had not. And also one of the first times ever, believe it or not, that I had made a climbing frame myself. I used to hate building for these animals and really not do it often, but I feel like this sort of broke new grounds for me. The climbing frame is, you know, I am very pleased with it. I took a lot of inspiration from other people, of course, but I learned the very basics of making it look somewhat believable. And then, of course, since bonobos are the more unknown and more secretive of the chimpanzee bonobo line, they have a far more natural and more tropical and more mysterious environment to them. Are you supposed to be there?
let's not dwell on that one too much. But yeah, that is the sort of the vertical view of them. I like that they're showcasing it to us. These little baskets up top are actual things I've seen in bonobo habitats, both in Plant Zoo and in real life. They are sort of meant to emulate the nests that they build. And of course, at the other end, you have the chimpanzee island with a simple tribute to Jane Goodall, which I talked much more about in the video about the chimpanzees, but of course, a leading figure in our research of not only the chimpanzee, but you know, all animals in a way. And this habitat is a crazier one. It is meant to showcase like a construction site that has either been left abandoned or is in the process of being built. You decide at the edge of kind of a dead forest, giving more of a conceptual view about, you know, humans encroaching on the world of animals with all these dead and fallen trees. And the actual height that is available to the chimpanzees is not anymore in the forest area. It is in the human side of the habitat. And right, I mean, I'm going to let you do all the thinking about that. That is a deliberate design there. And then you get the now fully designed Lion Mountain, and you get this backdrop of the savanna there for the elephants. I hope that as we progress a little bit that the elephants are going to get into the water. So let's first look at this more horizontal view for the bonobos. I am very happy with this. I really am, considering that I really dreaded building for the apes and postponed it for a long time. I feel like this habitat really works. It offers an equal amount of climbing and natural terrain for them. I've really grown an appreciation for the bonobo model and the animal, and then I feel like I really pulled off this vibe of I mean, one example that I would have for this zoo is the Plankendal bonobo habitat. If you go look that up, Plankendal is another Belgian zoo where they also have a lot of grass available to them, and seeing them striding through the grass is really such a vibe. And I'm really happy that they're actually showcasing this habitat and climbing it for us. And then at the other end, you get a very different experience here with the chimpanzee habitat. And it would seem that most of them are actually indoors at the moment. But as you can see, what I knew right away is I wanted the backdrop of the chimpanzee habitat to be the elephant water area. And the elephants, there is a bit of a hidden barrier back there, but the elephants can theoretically get all the way up to here, get very close to the chimpanzees, which, you know, in reality are not at all neighbors. They live in very different parts of the world, of the continent. But here in Bollo Bollo, this unlikely pairing is combined, and it would actually seem like most of the chimpanzees are indoors. See, there's a couple of them getting outdoors here. All of this is, of course, traversable to them, including the little crane I built here. Perhaps when we go outside again, they will be showcasing it to us. But let's go indoors. Right away, indoors, the big reveal is going to be this straight ahead. So we're going to go straight ahead right away to one of my favorite builds that I've ever done, the gorilla kingdom, so to speak, with this ombu tree turned upside down to create this revealed root structure. And then you have this forest floor vibe with the gorillas. And I put some of the colobus monkeys in there, and they're actually doing exactly what I hoped they would, and that is being active and climbing. Now they've all vanished out of thin air just when I said it. They have literally disappeared. But yeah, that I put some of them in here. I've seen them in plenty of zoos living together. But oh man, this vibe of this flipping this tree upside down and seeing the gorillas walk past these roots and through this grass is so... I am so happy with this. Just this big window and then this forest like bowl, so to speak, and then this mysterious animal, which is far less of a climber than the bonobos and the chimpanzees is. but I am so happy with this. I could look at this for a long time, and go check out the video I made about this one if you want to know all about it. But I am so happy with how this one came together. This is such a forest vibe. The way that the raised environment gives it a secluded, private feel. Also meant to evoke real life gorilla habitats, such as the Bronx Zoo habitat, and then this tree in the middle really stealing all of the attention. Some of these roots are actually traversable to the gorillas, not all of them, but still they sometimes do get on top of them and make use of them. But even just like this are really pleasing to the eye to me. And then there is this climbing frame that I made. I made this one myself. Very happy with it. Simple, but just trying to evoke the root structure right next to it to create a sort of artificial upturned tree like I did here. And yeah, considering my usual skill with climbing frames, I'm very happy with this one. And I'm also glad that I put these monkeys in there and they add some vibrancy and life to it. So I could look at this for a very long time. Please, if you check out Bollo Bollo yourself on the workshop, definitely pay this one a visit. Put some gorillas in here or something else if you want to. And to the left and right in this sort of large tropical dome, you get the indoor enclosure for the bonobo, which it seems is currently not in use. I did I'm not going to say extreme amount, but I did some research into what indoor habitats need to contain for apes, and there was a definite focus on the soil needing to be varied and different and soft. So I put like concrete in there and leaves and straw and mulch, and then just a complete chaos of climbing frames, because they don't mind chaos, these animals. They do love complexity and being challenged, both athletically and intellectually. So I did try and put a lot of things in there that would be enrichment to them, these barrels and stuff and these cardboard boxes. They're actually not using it at the moment, but that's fair. You never know with apes in a zoo where they're going to be. It seems like there is a chimpanzee in here. Same story here. Tried to create chaos, tried to create a complex environment that would not bore the chimpanzees, but actually challenge them to move around and not constantly do the same route through their habitat, but actually find different ways to explore it day in, day out. So I'm happy with this one. Again, I've seen crazy things for apes on the workshop. And even now, when I put a blueprint of a Great Ape habitat in my zoos just to look at it, I just throw up my hands and go, I'm never going to be able to do that. I think I am going to be able to do that. I just need to have the patience, number one. And number two, I need to stop stressing so much about making it all perfect, because I think I've opened up about my issues there. I have some problems with procrastination and with putting things off if they sort of scare or intimidate me, and that often leads to me, delivering something that I'm not fully satisfied with. But this ape habitat, I am very, very satisfied with. These three habitats that I put together are, in my honest opinion, a highlight in Bollo Bollo. So we are now going to go somewhere very different. We're going to return to the Tree of Life area, so I'll just jump cut to there to spare you all of the horrible backtracking you need to do. So we've taken a brisk walk back from the apes and the shadow trail, and we have arrived right over here in a little section that I sometimes call the village. I don't really have a name for this or a theme, but it has some of the habitats that I started building in the early days of my YouTube channel, and I really think that from now on it's quality builds only, if I may say so myself. I had a lot of fun ideas at this point. So the first one is this really funky little design that I built, actually sort of as a collaboration with the YouTuber Kingpin, in the sense that he built a sort of lore for his zoos, where some animals, some meerkats of his zoo needed to
be rehomed, and I gladly welcomed them here in Bollo Bollo. Go check out Kingpin, by the way, great YouTuber, makes amazing videos and has deservedly gained a big following. And the concept for the habitat, in case you haven't deduced that yourself, is that the meerkats have a burrowing system underneath you, and that they have these domes where they hopefully would appear. You just saw one there, so I'm not lying about that. Or you have this little tunnel that you could see them running through, and I kind of would hope that they would actually appear. You can see them running over there, so perhaps we can check them out. So it's a pretty complicated structure underneath. There's no terrain under us. It's just mulch and plants and faux rocks, and then just some bridges made out of plaster. Of course, very unrealistic, but I believe the concept in and of itself of these meerkats having a tunneling system under us and then having these domes to surface, I feel like I really pulled that off. And the look of this general area is just such a nice environment. I just kind of hope that they would showcase it better than they are now. There you see, there is one of them using this more exposed tunnel. Or not. You do you do yours. You do what you want to do, King. Obviously, I know that if these domes were real, they would absolutely cook these the flesh off of these meerkats. But let's like it's magical glass. And then we have this little moment, and I am really hoping. Yes, there you go. That the leopards would showcase this. This is the the bridge, the walkway that the leopards use to get from their habitat to their shelter, and this is something I saw in a zoo, and something I also saw in a video by Captain Callum. I believe it's the San Diego Zoo, and Captain Callum, also another great name for me to name drop. Go check out his videos. Really built a nice habitat to create this as well, so credit goes to them for the concept and the idea, but really works well to create even more drama and verticality and variety to this leopard habitat, of which we haven't seen the last. And to our right is more the to be expected meerkat habitat, which is where they can hang out if they want to. And if you really want, you can check out the glimpses back there of the plaster bridges, but hopefully your eye is drawn away to other sites. So that is the meerkat habitat for you. And moving on, we enter a African village, designed deliberately to be chaotic and cheerful and playful. None of this is architecture that really makes any sense, but I still had a lot of fun creating this colorful little plaza, so to say, with these shops inside, and then you have restrooms, and I just try to have fun with some theming and just a colorful, cheerful environment. And I hope that that it worked and that I pulled off what I was trying to do here with the village. It's small. You've probably seen much better African villages around, but this is mine, damn it, and I like it. And the sunlight just hits it in all the right ways. And then there you go. That is the station here for the monorail, which is actually very popular at the moment. The monorail is, of course, one of the things we're going to showcase at the very end. We're going to check out all the habitats on foot first. And this is actually one of the oldest blueprints by Frontier that exists. These two, they've been, in the game since launch, and I finally found a logical place to give them a home. So I think they look just great right over here. And yeah, I just think the color scheme of this environment, just very happy with it. But we do have a habitat to check out. Let's go up here first. I believe that's going to give you the best impression. We rise up and get to see the Ethiopian wolf, which has a pretty large habitat. Looks like they're all eating at the moment, so let's go and check them out. This is, of course, a mod. Africa definitely isn't known for their wolves, but they do have this Ethiopian wolf with its sort of like, you could almost say dingo / jackal-like appearance. And then you have this habitat with 2 caves back there, this raised section for them and then this cool arch with the monorail that softly slopes up and enters the lion habitat up there. And I just like the menacing fence up there, revealing that there's something dangerous lurking up there. We are obviously going to save the lion for later on in the tour, but this also offers... Wow, this is a popular habitat at the moment. I let 500 guests into this zoo, and I bet there's like at least 100 of them over here. But this is going to give us... That's explore mode acting up once again. But this is going to give us the final view into the leopard habitat. They have, as I said before, a lot of options to traverse. And this is sort of the upper section. If you remember, down there is the section that we saw in the shadow trail, but they can also hang out here, use the scratching pad, climb around, and get down again via here. So this is the section that you already saw. I believe that the leopards, one of them we saw going inside to their shelter, so I'm not too sure where the other one is, but I believe that is perhaps part of the fun of a habitat like this, is finding the leopard, this elusive and mysterious predator that it's not very common, as you might have heard. In zoos, usually you'll see the Amur leopard or even like the Indian leopard over the African leopard. So actually we didn't get to see it, so we're just going to run over here. Actually, yeah, let's make use of Explore Mode's glitch and go in here, because this is the piano wire view of the Ethiopian wolf. A more private, a more intimate moment here, with the darkness interrupted by the thin band of light, and then the Ethiopian wolf, you have to spot them in the tall grasses. And I like that you can see the shadow of the guests overhead. So there you have the wolf, and there's no glass separating you here. You can get closer by and feel, the wind on your face, and it's just such a vibe. The few times I've seen piano wire, I know there's thinner pieces out now in the game. Perhaps I should have put those in, but piano wire is a really cool technology is not really the right word to use, but a cool innovation in showcasing animals. And we are now at the other end, as you can see, of the Gelada and Klipspringer path. We are going to walk past the monorail station here, and we will reunite over here with the big promenade that starts at the very entrance of the zoo. And we're going to do a big loop that goes like this, and we're not going to do the Grand Safari just yet. We're going to backtrack until we arrive at these very stairs again. So the promenade actually goes over there, and you then have the option to go through a tunnel straight through the elephants, or you can go up the mountain and check out the lions before you check out the elephants. And but first of all, and I really like the monorail getting quite low over your heads here, and the fact that it's colored the same as most of the environment, but you are going to see the hippopotamus. You have a bit of a resting place for you to chill, admire the statue, perhaps see the hippopotamus on land. But of course the big draw of this particular section is that you can get down. And always, of course, with Yelbu, forgetting about the signs, you can get down here and be educated about this awesome, massive creature. In case another person hasn't told you before yet, they're actually family of the pig. In fact, when you see their statues, you can sort of tell they're statues. Did I say statues? They're skeletons. You can see the resemblance more than when you see them actually like this. But I think, you know, when you know that they're related, you can start to see the resemblances for sure. So this is the big underwater hippo viewing opportunity, where you could potentially see them all around you with their interesting gait, the way they don't really swim, but they just move around by pushing themselves off of the bottom of the you know, the riverbed or wherever they roam. And yeah, this is also where we have a keeper talk, of course. So that is one hippo view for you. We're going to see them again when we get past actually a bit of a nostalgic place for me, because this is the location of my very first speed build and my very first video of Planet Zoo, at least. Up there is a view of the wild dogs that I'm saving for later, because it's kind of part of the lion habitat. But this building, if you get up there, you can check out the wild dogs. But we have... Oh, come on, man. A bit of perfectionism would do you good, Yelpu. But to the right, as you can tell, we have a big fence obstructing the view of the wild dog. So you are better off looking to your left into the Nyala and Dig Dig habitat. And this was my first video on Planet Zoo. And even though I made it quite a while ago and I feel like I've improved in many ways, I still really dig the concept of this sort of this plaster forest with these, you know, what am I going to call it? These roof segments overhead, creating a sort of artificial / naturalistic canyon almost, or forest, where two kind of mysterious and reclusive species dwell. And I'm really still happy with this. I was so nervous recording this, I remember, because I didn't really know how I was going to edit it. So I just thought, I can't waste any time, every click has to be important. So I made this so fast, and I was really getting nervous. You know, I think by now I kind of have moved past the idea of speed builds. I think I'm going to go on a different route, but more on that in a different video that's coming soon. You get a more open air view here of the Nyala and the Dig Dig. Whew! The crowds are out today. And then you get this final view where you could theoretically see the deepest into the habitat. But still, you have to get lucky, of course. And this is one of those moments where the fence does drop down and you get a look into the wild dog habitat. A pretty generous look in and of itself. You can see all the way up to their shelter, and you can see the waterfall that falls into their habitat, and that creates a bit of a bridge, well, a river to be bridged. And then you get the wild dogs making funky moves in the water, or using the bridges as I intended. Are you good? Are you drowning? And then over there is the cave from which, well, not really cave, but the cave-like structure. And this also is a build that I am still looking at it like this. Perhaps if I obstruct... Okay, you are bothering me. Are you okay? But looking at it like this is still a habitat that I'm very happy with. I am getting a bit annoyed by this guy. Or this girl. You're fine now. Good. But yeah, I'm still very pleased with how this all came together. Great habitat for a wonderful animal. And we'll get to see them in another viewing opportunity later on. But to our left is the second speed build that I ever put on the channel for the African spurred tortoise. One of those animals where the habitat is almost more of a star than the animal itself. So we went in on the theming. We made sure that it all was colorful and playful. We gave them a little hut and made sure that the surroundings itself were also fun to look at, because they don't really need a barrier any more complicated than this. And we continue on, and we get to the second and final gift shop that our zoo has, the Shopopotamus. And
Pink is the name of the game, of course, because you might remember the hippos do live in a pink palace. So I made this shop literally an hour ago. I almost forgot to put a shop in here. It's nothing crazy. It just has a few little fun things that and it actually works. Look at that, a Planet Zoo shop that works. But it has a fun bunch of little things. So you have the normal stands, of course, but yeah, I have these little fake stands with plushies. And then, of course, one of the standout things here is the hippopotamus skeleton, a blueprint, of course. Go and check it out on the workshop. Just look for a hippo skeleton and you'll find this. Mounted on these faux rocks. And then you get more statues for sale. And if you really want to spend some money, you can splurge on one of these and probably have it delivered home to you or something. You actually have a alternative and sort of secret view into the spurred tortoise habitat. But of course, the main draw of entering this shop is this luxurious view of the hippos here in these seats, which are actually from a blueprint of IKEA furniture. But you can take a seat here and just enjoy the sun. Check out the hippo side of the Flamingo Palace, and then see these wondrous animals also enjoying the sun and the atmosphere. And yeah, just the way the light here interacts with the furniture and the colors here. Feel like this is a great vibe, and this would be a great spot for you to rest, for sure. So I think this would be a pretty popular shop. Oops, we didn't quite exit it the way we needed to. We're not going to head there just yet. That is the entrance to the Grand Safari Jeep ride. First, we need to go to the sort of main land viewing opportunity for the hippos. And one thing I like that I did here is create these little arches that are also pink and also have this vague resemblance to the hippo's tusks. Just a neat little thing. And you have the hippo palace over there. I think all of them are in the water, but you get the idea, right? This is their land section. They do have a pool indoors as well. This is the Grand Safari. We're not going to go there just yet. We're going to check out the final view for the African wild dog, and for that we need to go over here. To our left is actually already a habitat for the safari, but we're not going to look at that just yet. By the way, guys, do you like this fence? I put, really put some effort into creating this interesting little design. I usually go for blueprints for predator fences like this, but this is yet another view in the wild dog habitat. I really wanted these guys to have a standout habitat, because I kind of felt bad because the first time I put them in a zoo, they had a terrible habitat and they died all the time, and I mistreated them, the virtual versions of them. So I wanted to go all out and give them an amazing habitat, and it is one of the standout moments in the zoo. And that cave over there, if you know Bollo Bollo, you know what's up there. And if not, let that be a surprise for you. This is an alternative way to get onto the safari walking tour, but we're not going to do that. We're going to check out the final view that we can look at right now for the wild dogs, where they are potentially all around us. And we get to see them through this wire, but we also get to see them through this sort of faux wire, so to speak, through this wire made of water spouts. And I thought that was a cute little idea with the netting behind it. And then also over here, a great little habitat, if I may say so myself. We are going to zoom past it because we have an appointment with the hippos, the baboons, and the aardwolf. So not over here, but over here. So again, we're going to just go over there and then move back to the sort of crossroads of the big stairs, so that you sort of get a sense of how this zoo works. We shall go up here
to check out the Hamadryas baboon or not. Perhaps we can take the staff path. There you go. I love explore mode. It absolutely works every time you want to use it. This is the Hamadryas baboon. You saw them from up there. This time around you're going to see them from, you know, on equal level with them. They have this classic baboon rock that you see in almost all baboon habitats, and both in the real world and in Planet Zoo builds. Actually, I kind of don't like that they're swimming. I have never seen a baboon swim. I guess they can, but I kind of hope they would remain on the land. But yeah, this is all traversable. The rock up there, let's just move around it gently, sloping upwards as we get another opportunity to view the palaces there in the back. So yeah, the baboon habitat. Also, I remember recording this whole thing, this speed build, or well, rather I didn't remember, because I never clicked record. So I had been talking to my computer and recording the whole thing, and all of the footage was gone. So I just did another type of video. And a rather spacious view here. I didn't put animals in here yet, but I will showcase the view that you get across the Grand Safari. Because at the moment you can technically see, look at, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 habitats. Although it sort of looks like you're looking at maybe 2 of them. So I'm kind of ignoring the baboons, but you know, you get the idea. And then after the baboons, you get the aardwolf's main viewing opportunity, you could say, over here. So the aardwolf, as you can see, doesn't just live up there, it also can get down here, play around with these boxes, as this one is doing, or even get down up to there. I initially put a bear here. Africa doesn't really have bears, but I put the Syrian brown bear here. But something about them, it was all traversable to them, but I put them in the habitat and they would just stand still in one spot and wouldn't move. So I had to take them out of the habitat, not kill them. I'm so happy with these buildings. Can you tell how often I've zoomed in on them? But I am going to do a quick little walk back, because I did sort of think about the backtracking here, and I did offer you a way back. So let's run past. By the way, guys, if you've watched up until this part of the tour, thank you so much. You are a legend. And there's still some amazing stuff coming, don't you worry. Okay, those stairs are not... So going up here, you're going to get a very different view of the hippos. You're going to walk sort of past / under the big palace here, and you can check out the hippos from above. And again, explore mode is being a little bit annoying. Okay, then we'll just do it like this. You can walk over here and check out the hippos. You get the picture. And then this route leads you all the way back here. So yeah, I sort of made a little bit of a loop there, and I'm happy that I did. So what remains, we have to check out this part of the zoo, and I can't believe it. After that detour is over, we'll then do the jeep tour, we'll then do the monorail tour, and that will be it. So I'll see you after the jump cut. So here we are, we keep finding ourselves here, and it's time to tackle one of the big habitats that I made at the very end. In fact, the final Bollo Bollo video that I've ever uploaded. And if you've seen that video, you know what's coming. It is the West African lion, of course. There is an option to bypass the whole habitat, go through this nocturnal habitat tunnel and end up at the elephants, but we're going to go this way. And I am absolutely convinced that explore mode is going to be annoying us
just one more time out of pure spite. Oh, actually, we're doing great. So let's go over here and check out the other view of the wild dogs that I promised you. Right over here, you can check out the wild dogs one last time. And they just love jumping in the water. You love to see it, although I hope I don't get to see one of them drowning again, because that was a very worrisome set of animations. They're gonna be doing it again, but it's apparently a fun activity for them. Anyway, let's by the way, if you like these fences, these are just the shop canopies flipped on their side. Not an original idea by me. I cannot say who I saw do it first, but there you go. We are going to head up here, up these stairs. Apparently, if you look down, Explorer mode is less difficult. No, we still need to do this. Oh man. Anyway, this is the Cave of the King, and it is the intended path for you to go through when you check out the lion habitat. So let's go into the cave, and the first thing we are going to see is these waterfalls with offering some good humidity, and we get this intimate view here into the lion's sleeping cave. And we get lucky and we see 3 of them already in here having a good little cat nap. And there is actually the male of the bunch who's going to jump and probably head in here as well. And we get some glimpses of the habitat itself. It is a very large, spacious habitat. And you know, I gotta zoom in on them one more time, guys. But the Grand Safari is over there. That is going to be the last section that we tour. But we leave that behind and get some more modest viewing opportunities here into the habitat. We do catch a glimpse here of the melanistic. Is it melanistic or is it leucistic? Let's just say the white lioness to make it easier on ourselves. But we get some glimpses of the lion's massive rock that they have in the middle of their habitat that they can rest on, climb on, bask in the sun, or just have fun exploring it. But the real standout to me, at least, is this little spot, and that is where the lion's habitat intrudes into the humans part of the habitat. We get this little atmospheric shop area. Big fan of the colors that I used here, to be honest. But yeah, can you just imagine grabbing, what do I have for sale here? Just some hamburgers apparently, and some pip shot. Is that lemonade? Just lemonade? Gloop Phi line? Doesn't sound that tasty. But you get some gloop and a hamburger, you sit here and you just check out the lions. So close to you, it's an intimate moment. It can be a bit intimidating as well, because they are in your space, kind of. And I've seen this in zoos. I've seen this in actually like an actual hotel room, where the lion had a little section into your bedroom. In fact, probably some very expensive resort experience somewhere. But the lions do love to spend their time here. I can imagine it would be very relaxing for them to rest on on these planks here in the sun. So yeah, just a great little moment here, but the habitat is far from over. We're going to get up there. I wish this feature wasn't so buggy, man. But I love Explore mode. I love using it for so many reasons, but it does really not interact with every path well. We get a view here of the back of this large rock. As you can tell, the lions can get all the way up there, and very often do. And they get a very, very generous view there of their kingdom. You know, the drill with everything the light touches. And then we get a glimpse here of the elephant habitat, but I'm going to be a little bit... that's not good. It's good that we do these tours, then we can clean up our zoo. I'm not going to look at the elephants just yet. I'm going to leave that for later. Let's run up here to the extremely dangerous path that's going to lead us right over the lions and the monorail station. So you got a look there at the back of this Lion's Rock, but we're now going to come into view of the front of it to really see the entire panorama. This is the monorail station, nothing too special about it, but this is the front of the Lion Rock, and you can truly see the scale and the breadth of this natural feature here. And the lions have plenty of elevation. You can imagine the traversable terrain here is not ideal, but you could imagine that the lions in a real zoo would have access to all these rocks, and they would, perhaps the keepers would hide food in the cracks of these rocks and stuff, and it would be a very, very fun experience for the lions and for the guests to see it. And you do catch, luckily I made sure that you can see the palaces still at the back there, and that lion is just contemplating life in general, and that one is, look at that, just resting up there. What an amazing spot, very kingly, if I may say so myself. It's always fun spotting the white lioness. I always see her, and it's also fun spotting the male lion. I assure you, he's in here. We saw him earlier, but it's very hard to spot him for some reason. He's a wily bastard, that one. But I just don't know where he's at most of the time. Perhaps we'll get to see him. So at the other end is this very different, and I'm very happy that there's lines to actually showcase it. This is where the water is, so I thought this is where the water is, so this is where the plants are. So this is where it goes from perhaps some more regular savanna rock to a much more fantastical and lush, overgrown oasis vibe, and it does offer you, in my opinion, perhaps the single greatest view in the entire zoo, and that is this one, especially if you do get lions walking past below you. This is the result of 2 years of work, to be honest. I'm not going to get all sappy and corny about it, but this is satisfaction to me, right? All of this stuff I built, and then to cap it all off, the crowning piece of the zoo, the lion habitat, and then this glass habitat to ensure that you have also the opportunity to see the guests below, and then the entrance all the way over there. This makes me feel very pleased about Bollo Bollo, and I hope you agree with me that this view really, is like a deserving. It's not the final moment of the tour, but it does feel like the final moment of Bollo Bollo in many ways. Not just because I built it last, but because this is the part where you take the pictures. This is the part where promotional material would make use of this spot to take all of the pictures here. And at the other end, of course, you haven't moved. Are you okay? I'm just gonna... You're just fine? You have access to all the land area? Okay, then just you do you, queen. Where is that male lion at? Could that be him? Nope. I assure you he's in here, but I don't know where he's at. Perhaps you guys have seen him in some footage earlier. I know we saw him run past once. Wow, I'm stumbling over my words. I think I gotta record the rest of the tour tomorrow when my brain functions again. So yeah, that is the lion habitat. I'm stuck again. Thank you so much, Explore Mode. We would then go down, and we are going to go over here. And for this, in fact, we're going to turn night into day, or rather day into night. You get this lion statue, and I just had fun putting these little masks on the fence around it, and these little lights around the statue to light it up at night. And I don't really appreciate the night sky since I play sandbox. Almost all of my time is spent in the day, and people do give Planet Zoo a hard time for the lighting indoors. By the way, didn't show you this. This is another wild dog viewing opportunity. Let's do it in dark. I think that's a lot of atmosphere. This is just, and then this looks like there's no glass, but it is glass, and then a waterfall. So yeah, the the lighting in the dark like this isn't really good, but the atmosphere of the nighttime and the stark shadows of the moonlight. That's some good stuff. That's pure atmosphere right there. But we are going to head into a place that actually has a reason for me to have colored it dark, and that is Usiku, which is a word from the East African language Swahili, and it means, as you can perhaps surmise, night. So enter Usiku, or the Nocturnal animal exhibit. There is an animal, I think I have a couple of animals that could fit in here, the porcupine for example, and perhaps others. Did I just see a balloon? Did I just see a balloon? Or am I completely dreaming? I gotta check the footage. Man, this zoo is haunted. Anyway, there. The plot thickens. I might have seen that balloon. This guy's... I don't know what he's doing, but he's giving off a certain vibe that I really appreciate. The sunglasses indoors, the balloon, the hat. Certainly the only guest here in the entire... Anyway, stop being distracted. We have exhibits here. I don't recall what's in here. I have to be honest. Nothing. It was a land snail exhibit, but there's nothing in there. But let's talk about what is in here. It is the African civet. There's two of them in here. A grand and interesting and lushly decorated nocturnal habitat with the red lighting to give it all the atmosphere that you would expect from a nocturnal animal house. Also a gorgeous mod. When I saw it on the workshop, I right away knew I needed to get them, and built a little section like this. So at the other end you get this time a blue tint for the aardvark, which is in here somewhere, I assure you, but they could very well be sleeping in their burrows, which you can see back there. The aardvarks also have a separate viewing window over here, but it looks like they're not home. Perhaps a second look. They're not going to come out just yet. That's fine. That's part of the zoo life, isn't it? And then at the other end, we get the honey badger, which is on its own. This is a solitary habitat for it, and I had fun making this all this habitat sort of get a honey color. I'm not a big fan of the flare here of the light on this window. This has been annoying me ever since I built it. I'm not sure what I could do about it. Of course, besides deleting the light altogether. But this is the honey badger habitat. It's a bit on the smaller side. The honey badger is actually completely miserable, but I imagine in an actual zoo, this is a normal size for a honey badger habitat if you build one indoors. And then at the other end, you get the green colored fennec fox habitat. This is one that I did build on stream, never really released a video about it, but you get the fennec fox in here. I have to confess, when building the lion habitat, which is right now above us, I did push down the terrain quite a bit, and some habitats really got messed up by me doing that, and I tried to fix them by adjusting the terrain again, but the roof doesn't really look like it did before. But I'm going to not mess with it too much, because then I'm going to destroy the lions above them. So this is just what it looks like now, the fennec fox habitat. There's the bunch of them, wonderful little creatures, and I had a lot of fun building this for sure. And that is already the end here of our Usiku. What a complete hazard for you to walk past this at forehead level, or just bumping your knee into this razor sharp root. But anyway, we are going to turn the time back to... Wow, that's bright. Whew. That was actually very blinding to my eyes. We're going to head upstairs, and this time around I will give you the full view of the African elephant habitat. And in fact, I will give you all of the education that you deserve. This habitat, also one of the final ones that I made. I'm going to zoom in on this little feature first of all, because this habitat is a cohabitation deal with the Patas monkey and the Topi gazelle and then the elephant itself. But I really felt like I needed to give the monkeys like their little enclave, really. So they have this island with all of the enrichment and the climbing stuff that they really love to spend most of their time on, in fact. But if they want to, they can leave the island behind, as you can see, by climbing this rope bridge and get on these platforms. And they're actually using it now because I put some boxes on there, and they can just run around overhead over the elephants and the gazelles. Yeah, that is just what I wanted to show first, because the elephant is going to steal the spotlight soon enough, because I made an absolutely, and I mean that, absolutely enormous habitat for them, stretching from this tree. They could even get into this moat if they wanted to, but they don't really. And then you just have this panoramic view of them all the way over there. And this is, if you really want to, if you enter the zoo, you can beeline for here. For the longest time, I didn't know what I wanted to put at the end of this long straight line through Bollo Bollo, but I'm very happy that this is what I decided to go for. I feel like it goes together very well, these antelopes, the monkeys, which, you know, they do what I really wanted them to do, and that is spend most of their time here, but they can run through this this large yard. And the elephants, of course, are the stars here. There's actually plenty of them, but because the habitat is so big, you still feel like lucky and privileged if you see them. I think most of them are actually either over there on the beach or perhaps in the shelter. But in case you remember, that is the chimpanzee habitat. They're not home. I removed them already. But you have that little beach down there that the elephants can use to access the water. And then you have like this reverse effect now, that you could see the chimpanzees and even the bonobos while looking at the elephants and the topi. And that is just, you know, culmination of a lot of work that went into it. This view is many hours of building all come together. And what really makes me happy most of all is actually that the monkeys are using these little platforms. I kind of wanted to add them to the whole habitat, and you know, you be the judge. Perhaps that would have been even better, but I still like the fact that they use this monkey island more than anything else. So that is the elephant, topi, and the monkey habitat. Now, guys, we're going to. I'm not going to film me walking back, but we are going to do the Grand Safari. So we took a quick little cut here. Right across from Shopopotamus, we have, as I said before, the Grand Safari. So as you approach this building, you have this entrance to the walking tour to our right, and then you have the actual queue here with a bit of theming going on for the Grand Safari itself, where you would get on one of those jeeps and ride around. We are going to do the walking tour first, and then, well, as soon as we've completed the walking tour, we have completed all of the walkable you know, aspects of Bollo Bollo, and then we will do the jeep ride and we will do the monorail ride. So first up for the walking tour, we're going to have a look here at what I intended to be the sort of giraffe feeding platform. So normally it would be closed, and visitors probably would have to pay a pretty penny to get up here and feed one of our 2 South African giraffes back there. So this habitat houses the blue wildebeest, the Grevy's zebra, and the South African giraffe. And it's, I believe, the second largest of the safari habitats
and the largest one is at the back, but I think it's still my favorite. I feel like all of the colors, the green grass, the buffalo grass, everything really work well together. But of course my favorite effect of the safari is the way that it all looks like one big area, and you get to see all other animals, because these animals, and these animals are not in the same habitat, right? So the zebra, the hartebeest back there, and the gemsbok, those are 3 different habitats you're looking at, and that is what I wanted to achieve. Not that those animals wouldn't want to mix necessarily, but still to sort of keep it as you know, different from each other habitats instead of all of them. And you do get a view here of the cheetah habitat, which was the first one I built for the Grand Safari, but we're going to get a much better look at them when we actually run away from the Grand Safari entrance, because the entrance to the walking tour is kind of hidden back here. There is another way to visit it, but we are going to do it counterclockwise, sort of in the way that I built it. So the walking tour is a pretty long trek. I'm going to try and not say the word walking tour too often, I promise. So first off is the cheetah. We have 3 cheetahs in here. One of them is the actually the color variation, the king cheetah, and I think the concept of the habitat is quite clear to you immediately. A lengthy habitat allowing them to showcase their running behaviors, and then a hidden moat at the back to create the illusion that they are in the same savanna as the animals beyond. And yeah, this habitat comes with some inspiration from other YouTubers. Go check out the video once again that I made for these guys. But I still feel like it's a very effective and a sort of realistic habitat for these guys. Although I'm not too sure how good these fences are to hold them back. But yeah, just a great little habitat for them, full of personality, I think. And the color schemes, I have to tell you guys, there's a reason I'm showcasing the safari to you last, and that is because the colors here, while a lot of the zoo, especially the part beyond over there, is very colorful and bright, the safari is where I went hard on the natural colors of Africa. And I feel like I feel like I did a very good job there. So moving on, we get this funky little building. Don't ask me too many questions about it. I tried my best to do something fun here, and I created this little sort of brutalist restaurant. With that is where you would visit the restrooms, and if you had a reservation, probably for plenty of money, you could sit here and eat some thematically relevant food. There was a restaurant at Beekse Bergen which is mostly an African zoo, and I had a mussel hamburger, and I mean like mussel as in the shellfish, and that was so good. Not sure if that's actually African food or not, but from this place you can check out the cheetahs, you can check out this giraffe, zebra, wildebeest habitat. You can also check out the next habitat, which isn't empty, I assure you. It contains the Hirola over there and the red hartebeest, and then you can also of course check out the sides of what's to come, with the largest of the safari habitats and the 2 palaces looming over there. So without further ado, let us approach. So yeah, this habitat is, you know, it's designed, most of the experience here is designed that either the Jeep or you as a guest get the best view as a walking guest. And a case of that is coming right up. So you do get the hartebeest and Hirola back there. They're probably all in their shelter or back there, it looks like. But down below, you actually get the common warthog in its own little muddy, sunny pit down there. And I feel like, honestly, the eyes of most of the people in the Jeep ride would be looking out there. So this little treat is mostly for the people who do the walking and get to spend a bit more time standing here and check out the warthogs. And I feel like this habitat really works. creating this barren feel with still plenty of plant life, and trying to get all the mud and sort of desolation that warthogs would cause. And I'm sort of in love with this vibe in general. And yeah, just the backdrop in and of itself is plenty nice to look at. And we are approaching a more forested area of the walking tour. Oh, I said it again. But this habitat is one that replaced a different one that I accidentally deleted. If you don't know the story, I'm not going to rehash it the whole time. But I accidentally deleted a very large part of this safari, and it took me a long time to find the psychological strength to rebuild it. And this habitat in fact never existed before, and I put something else in here. So this is a jackal habitat, and you get this glass tunnel moving through their habitat, and I especially like this side to the right with this, you know, very normal zoo fence over there, and then just the bushes beyond. And I like those trees giving a very, like, what's the word, spotted shadow experience. So I think mottled is also a word to use there, and you just get these guys running to and fro in their spacious habitat, really meant to be like more secluded and cool, as in the temperature wise cool, as the other habitats here. And the Jeep doesn't really give you the full experience, so that is kind of a walking tour exclusive or a monorail exclusive. We'll do the monorail as well, although there's parts of the monorail ride that I'm going to not show you, because the monorail goes through these two palaces and there's nothing inside. It is bare ugliness, and I'm not going to show you that even while walking on foot. But yes, guys, these are my favorite two places in the zoo. Haven't you noticed? These are the Dueling Palaces, the Black Palace and the White Palace. And I built a version of them before. It took me many hours. Then I deleted them. Then I rebuilt them to be even grander and crazier. And I kind of think the Black Palace wins when you compare it to the White Palace. You be the judge of that. I tried to stick pretty faithful to the original White Palace, but for the Black Palace I kind of went all out. And so the concept is that two princes were born and had palaces built for them, and that they were also represented by night and day, and moreover so by the black rhinoceros and the white rhinoceros. So we have two black rhinos in here, together with 4 male giant elands. So it's a pretty male affair down there. And then we have these like basalt rock structures that I really fell in love with, and really tried to pull off. Well, I think you know kind of the environment that I'm trying to recreate here. And yeah, it's just a wonderful creature. And also, I mean, the look from the entire zoo when you see the palaces is nice, but when you stand at the palaces and look at the zoo, it is just as nice, because once again it shows you the density of what I've been building, and the scale of this project, and the scale of the Grand Safari. And then you get Lion Mountain back there, and yeah, this just makes me happy, and I hope it makes you happy as well. So the habitat itself, there's the two of the rhinos, pretty bare bones all in all, and that is because their neighbors actually have a quite different getup. So we move from the black volcanic rocks to the white faux rocks over there, as we sort of, I'm not meaning to imply that black rhinos are like the dark evil rhinos and they are the good guys, but still the vibe is there of like a fairy tale of two, you know, princes, two palaces that would rival each other and represent different values and different strengths. So over there you have the white rhinos, and together with them is one of my favorite animals in Africa, and also one of my favorite moths, and that is the greater kudu. Look at those guys, look at their horns, they're just as impressive in real life. And they live here with these 3 white rhinos, if I remember correctly. And yeah, I hope you can sort of feel the different vibe
These have different vibes, of course, but also the vibes of the habitats are meant to represent a more naturalistic, somber versus a more fairy tale-esque light side habitat. And yeah, I think I pulled off the vibe. You can tell me if you agree or not. Same with the planting. There you have more just greens, and over here you have a far more colorful get-up. Did I show you the palace well enough, do you think? Let's just run back and look at it and see some of the detail at play here. The back is also detailed a bit, but not in the sense that I want to show it off to you, honestly. If you want to see it, download it. Don't look inside, I warn you. And the white palaces over here. Very different vibe, of course. Not with the gold and the white and the little touches of black. This particular building was also sort of inspired by some real Iranian architecture, but the rest of it is just, of course, just a pure fantasy of mine. So there you have it. Those are the Dueling Palaces, and those are the rhino habitats as visible to you from the walking perspective. Next up is a pretty lengthy staircase. And to our left, we'll get another view into the big habitat that I kind of glossed over. You're not really meant to see much of it from the walking side, and that is the black wildebeest, gemsbok, and the ostrich. And they seem to love walking on those rocks. I think I'm gonna want to put a fence around them, because it's kind of annoying me that they're just on those rocks the whole time. It's not what they would do. But coming right up is a great little build of mine, and that is sort of the stone shipwreck kind of the spotted hyena. They have these two raised triangular walkways over there and over there, and then in the middle they have a cave, and then they just roam around looking menacingly at the guests and also at the antelopes behind the electric fence there. And yeah, I think just they genuinely do use this. They always walk up and walk back down. They even seem to prefer using this pathway over other means of getting around their habitat, and that is of course precisely what I meant to do. There's 4 of them in here. I'm going to assume that the 2 others are sleeping in there. And yeah, this is the spotted hyena habitat, also one of my favorites, and one that was well received on YouTube, and I believe, rightfully so. And also the vibe, of course, was for you as a guest to have the opportunity to have the hyena look sort of down on you and then sniff at your approach and perhaps, size you up for dinner. Hang on, I didn't finish this. I'll get on that. It's fine. And then another moment where the walking tour isn't the ideal get-up, and that is for the giant, the common eland habitat together with the impala. So to get to them, we'll have to do the safari ride later on, and then that is already hidden from view for us. And then as sort of as a final treat just for you as a walking visitor is the unique Gerenuk, the long-necked gazelle. I feel like I've been mixing up gazelle and antelope this whole tour. I think I might have made some taxonomic errors there. But yeah, just a lush, overgrown little area for these very, very unique creatures. And that in fact concludes the walking tour, so let's just jump on a jeep and see how it feels from there. We are now in the body of a guest, and we are going to enter the safari ride. Let us gaze to the left for the entire time, because the stuff to the right you saw while we were walking. So this is that first habitat. Kind of a shame that most of them are back there, but the wildebeest, the zebra and the giraffe are in here, and the big mud wall banks to have more foliage. Coming up next, we will have as we go through this arch, We'll have the Hartebeest and Hirola, as you know. We'll get a bit more closer up view of them, taking this big turn. Sometimes, of course, they come to visit this tree and you'll get a very close-up view of them, but for now they're back there being a bit more private about everything. And yeah, guys, thank you to Sandbox Mode for disabling escapes, because this safari would not work otherwise. There's no way that what I'm doing here would work. But there we go. We have the Hartebeest, which is the taller one, and we have the Hirola, which is the one with the horns curving forward, and the Hartebeest with the horns curving backwards. So two very similar looking creatures, but they are different ones. We seem to be stuck, and I'm going to assume that's because there's an animal on the road. So I'm going to take this opportunity to ask you to perhaps subscribe if you've watched this far and are still holding on. And it seems like we are sort of moving. Look at this wonderful scene, begging to be screenshotted, if I may say so. But it seems like we are stuck. Yeah, I'm going to jump cut to the moment we're moving again. There we go. We have come unstuck, and we are going to follow all of the jeeps in front of us. There's been a bit of a delay. It was that one to the left. Anyway, we are now approaching the largest paddock, so to speak. With this is honestly, I think not. I think it's the biggest, but also not the best habitat in here. It was meant to be drier and more sparse, but I feel like I can do better than this. And also I realize now that a large part of this safari experience, right now you don't get to see them, but that is the Bollo Bollo build. We build big and we build for the animals. So if you see them, that is your privilege, that is your good fortune, but the animals deserve most of all to have their sanctity and privacy respected. We're going to go uphill now, and at this point guests will have to choose to look right or left. Those guys look happy, but we're going to look left for most of the uphill climb here, because we get to see three wonderful animals in here. Let's see if we can spot them all. I'm seeing a hyena get boxed back there, but you have the ostrich, the black wildebeest, and the gemsbok. And to our right, we're kind of being blocked by these two guys' big faces, but we have the black rhino and the white rhino, the little river here. Let's see if we can spot the white rhino here. There you go. It looks kind of dead to me, but and then to the left, that habitat again. So as you can tell, there's a very lively habitat coming up, and we're also going to make sure to look right, because the hyenas very often love to hang out at the very... Ooh, that was a... Whoops! That's a big little jump in speed here. So farewell to these three, to the... Why are we going so fast all of a sudden? Yep, hyena to the right in their cave. And to the left we have the impala and the common eland. But the jeep apparently doesn't want to waste much time here and just is going to speed up very, very fast. So say farewell to those guys, I guess. I remember having deleted all of this, guys. It took me so long to get the mental strength to rebuild it, and I feel like I rebuilt it better than what it was. I'm the only judge of that. You never saw it, but of course looking at scenes like this, I think I did a good job rebuilding this, because this really just works. With the words of the mighty Todd Howard, this just works. Look at the parallax effect going on here. Sweet, sweet safari ride. And then you get a second pass through of the wildebeest, zebra and giraffe habitat. They do generally hang out very often in this section. I think I found out why they were being so difficult, the animals, and that's because there was a path in the habitat. And apparently when you get a big zoo and you put a path in your habitats, the animals start to freak out. Seems like a lot of them are resting in the very ugly backstage there. and then we are going to take a very fast turn into the station, sort of where you get that wall is not placed well. I think my head just got decapitated, but this is where we get off. One more thing is left, and that is the monorail ride, and then the story finished. At the very end, I'll just have a quick little cinematic for every single habitat in the zoo, just a few seconds of it with some nice tunes for you to listen to, and that will be that will be the end of our Bollo Bollo tour. So thank you for joining me on the Jeep ride. Let's go to the monorail. And instead of going on a big explanation about what you're going to see, we've seen all this stuff before. I think this is the time to take the opportunity to look back on Bollo Bollo as a whole. Bollo Bollo, I don't want to get all sentimental here, but at the same time I am a sentimental person, so it's fair to say that the past 2.5 years, of which I've spent a considerable time building this zoo, has been a really great experience. Bollo Bollo is a hallmark Yelbu zoo in the sense that it didn't get any planning beforehand beyond just I want all African animals. It's chaotic behind the scenes, it is full of strange shortcuts and ugly backstage moments. The pathing is a disaster for the guests. It is an animal first zoo, it is a landscape first zoo, and I, in the sense that it represents me in that sense, I feel like it was a satisfying experience. Not only that, it is after Tierra Encantada, of course, but it is the biggest zoo that I've ever managed to finish, start to finish. And this, of course, is the zoo that managed to sort of convince me to start this whole YouTube channel. I had this channel laying around from years and years ago when I made some crappy FIFA 07 videos. And I had been watching Planet Zoo content since pretty much the first year or so when it was launched. And I was always thinking, I want to, not that I'm as good as some of the crazy people out there, but I always said I want to showcase what I can do. I want to be part of this YouTube community. I want to try and make videos, but I was always scared, right? Yelbu is the kind of person I do not easily try new things that challenge me, things that are new and different from my usual routine. So starting a new thing like a YouTube channel was intimidating to me, but it actually was a very smooth and easy process for me, and most of all a very fun experience. As long as it is fun, I want to keep doing this. But the fact that at this point we are coming close to a pretty significant milestone, and that is 500 subscribers, and that is a humbling and very encouraging number. Just the fact that 500 people in the past have clicked that button, be it from my FIFA 07 days, be it perhaps students of mine, that has happened, or just people who liked what they saw here in these builds. Thank you for coming along for the ride. I promise you that 2026 is not going to see me slow down. Actually, it will see me try and speed up and keep up with this weekly video thing. But it has been such a fun experience, not just because I can share, views like this to you, but I can also now be part of an actually very welcoming community of people. Through Planet Zoo, I've come to know very, very nice and welcoming and interesting and smart people on Discord, on YouTube and the like, people that are talented, people that are smart from all over the world. And that makes me happy that I took this plunge, because I don't think I would have been as engaged in those communities without Planet Zoo. And also the fact that Planet Zoo 2 is coming up encourages me that I can be there from day one and try and make a name for myself doing what I like the most. I like showcasing you my builds, but what I think I like even more is showcasing other people's amazing contributions. And that's what I want to be in 2026 when that Planet Zoo 2 drops. I want to be the community zoo tour guy. So that's what you can expect from me. Anyway, guys, thank you so much, but the cinematics are here and I'm going to shut up.